Hey y'all, happy Thursday. I wanted to hop on here because yesterday I hopped on and I did some readings and stuff, and I really liked the vibe. I feel like I haven't done any personal one-on-one readings or any psychic readings that were just kind of like raw on here in a minute. And so I kind of wanted to get on to do that today. But before I hop into that, today, what I've been doing recently is writing every single morning. And the reason why I've been writing is because I started the artist way, but for some reason, I just feel like it's not the time for me to start that right now because it's just too much with everything that I have going on, trying to get the soul school together and stuff like that. But I did start this creative writing class, and in this creative writing class, they was telling me like I need to be writing every single day. And so I journaled this morning, and I realized that I'm finally at the place, and I think I say this a lot, but I'm finally at the place in my life where I've been fighting to get my entire life, which is just a place of having a regulated nervous system, being happy with what I do at work, having flexibility in my schedule, not having to work for nobody, just all of the things. And it doesn't look anything like how I imagined it, and it doesn't look like anything like how society told me it would look. And so it's a strange feeling because it's like, damn, like everything that I thought I needed in this life is not actually what I needed. The only thing I ever really needed was to be kind to myself. The only thing I ever really needed was to honor myself and take what I needed into consideration instead of constantly prioritizing other people. And so this morning while I was writing, it's like, I'm starting to realize that I am walking as the embodiment of everything that I say that I am for like the first time in my life. Meaning like where it's not for any gimmicks. I'm not performing. I'm not anything. I'm just being who I am. And sometimes it do feel a little cringe. I'm not gonna lie. Because I think all of us got a little cringe in us, a little annoyance, a little weirdness to us, But I started to realize the other day that there is nothing separate from you. I think a lot of times we like to say like, oh, what I believe politically is different than like I made this choice because of taxes. I didn't make this choice because of the person. And it's just like, no, if you made that choice, then you're saying yes to that thing, And so I've been very intentional and stuff about like where I'm spending my time, where I'm investing my energy, because energy is the currency. Energy is a currency. Where you spend your attention is where you're going to be influencing, right? Hey, Zena. Hey, Ra. But I don't know. It's just a weird place to be. It's not weird. It's just like, it's kind of exciting because it's like the future that I imagine is so vastly different than where I am right now. But it's like, it's everything that I want though. It's everything that I want. And so I think we have to kind of release our own expectations when we're trying to become the version of ourselves, and we need to loosely plan around what that looks like instead of being dedicated to a specific version of ourselves, because society told me that I was going to have a man. I was going to have a high paying job. I was going to have all these things. But I realized while I was on a journey that none of those things make me happy. Like I've never been in a situation like I've always had high paying jobs. I've always worked at Fortune 500 companies. I've always been in management at those companies. And that was like the most miserable I ever was because they don't really care about people. And like I left the sales. I used to work in sales for a real long time, and I left sales because I care about people. And I feel like sales is dehumanizing as hell. Like I feel like they don't care about the actual person. They just care about getting the money, and they want you to care about getting the money as well. And if you're not on that, if you don't push people who don't have the money, then you're a problem. Like you get marked down for stuff like that. And hold on, y'all. Money, then you're a problem. Like you get marked down for stuff like that. And hold on, y'all. Hold on, y'all. 1 second. I feel like if you're not like that, then you're not rewarded. You're actually like reprimanded, And I remember being a sales manager and having to coach people through, talking to people going through a financial problem, and the solution for the company is like, well, ask them, can somebody else pay for them and they can pay them back? And it's just like, nigga, why? Like, if you don't have the money, you don't have the money. Like, why do we apply so much pressure in this scenario? And so I had to leave that field because I felt like it was dehumanizing. Like, we were reducing people to numbers, and I just can't get behind that. I can't get behind that at all. I don't care if it's for a check. Like, I can't do that. And so then I went into pharmaceutical sales, and in pharmaceutical sales, they was teaching us like the mechanism of action when it comes to like the drugs that we selling and stuff like that. And, you know, I'm a person whose degree is in kinesiology, which means that I understand the human body very well because that is what I studied in school. That's what my degree is. That's what I'm an expert in. Hey, Memory. And so, as I'm like reading through, specifically, it was a ADHD medication for a child, and it was causing suicide ideations in children. It was causing liver enzymes to build up in certain children, which was causing them to have to go into the hospital. And it's just like, why would that be the solution? If that is causing, if you got to take a medication and then you have to take 10 other medications to fix the problem of the one medication, to fix one problem, now you're on 10 different medications. Like, what, like, how does that help us? You know? And so I end up leaving that company. Really, they had a company-wide layoff, but I was already halfway out the door, you know? And then I feel like I try to kind of go out on my own, but then, you know how you just comfortable, like you just comfortable. Like anytime that you an entrepreneur and things are not working out the way that you need them to, we always fall back into our comfort. We always fall back into corporate America. We always whatever. And so this time I tried to go for like a local business, you know, and I stayed at that local business for a while, but the guy who ran the business was like an old military guy. He came from like, I had came from that company's corporate office. And so like I knew a lot because I was in management, and he hated that because the whole purpose of him buying his own, like franchise of the business, the whole purpose of him doing that was so that he would be the top dog, you know, and he had been at that company in New York for like 14 years. And when I came in, everybody was asking me questions. He hated that shit. He paid me less than any of the guys. He was trying to be homeboys with all the guys, and it was so cringe. It was so weird, but I ended up having to leave there. And then I got into working for this place called Marketplace and Events, and they do like flower shows and patio shows because I just needed something different. And basically you booking people for this huge event, and it's only 2 events a year, but you booking people who come all across the world to like, who are basically building homes, and like landscapers are coming, and people who offer like package, like people who have farms and like do like meat distribution and just shit like that. And that was cool, but it just wasn't me. And so I ended up leaving that job as well. And I don't know, it's just like I had decided, because I've had my own business since 2015, I kind of decided that I always was going to work for myself. And so everything that I did kind of in between was to kind of, it was like a stepping stone job. Like to me, any job that I had after 2015, I did not go into that job with the anticipation that I was going to be there forever. Like I went into that job like, oh, you know, this is cool. This is going to make me some money. But I don't know, now I'm finally in this place in my life where everything is exactly how I wanted it, saying the things that I want to have, living the place that I want to live, doing the job that I want to do, like a job that I'm passionate about, which is, I can't wait to launch the Soul School. Y'all don't even understand. I cannot wait for that to happen. But being in tune with my gifts, just all of the things, like living out loud, being able to be feeling safe, comfortably, being my full self. And it looks nothing like I thought it was going to look. And so you got to create space for, like, yeah, you want to have an idea of what you think it is, but you got to create space for it to happen how it happens, you know? And I feel like every job that I've had in between gave me a certain set of skills that helped me to move forward on this journey of launching my own thing, you know? So I don't know. I just kind of wanted to get on here and say that, because this morning I was journaling and I was just like, damn, like, it feels like my whole life is an act of rebellion. And I like that for me. Like, I like that for me because everything that I do is very intentional. It's very much so how I would do it. You know, like, I don't see myself as separate from my choices. I don't see myself as, like, I would never compromise who I am as a person just for a check, just for money, just for whatever. And so to be in a place where I'm fully standing in that, feels fucking good. And everything is not perfect. It's not perfect. I feel like shit is still going wrong. I thought that when I got here, everything was going to be perfect. I was going to be happy. I was going to have a man. I was going to have a house. I don't want any of those things. I don't want any of those things. It's just what society told me that I should want, you know? And so, I don't know. It's just like a weird place, but a happy place too, though, because I feel like this is what I've always wanted. So I just wanted to hop on here and say that. I hopped on here to do some readings today. I kind of want to do some raw readings, and I wanted to see if people wanted to come up and do a reading. They are going to be 22 sent to Cash App. I put my Cash App in like the title, so it should be BIGTAJJ, J with 3 J's. But I want to call people up and do some psychic readings because my client that I have in 30 minutes had to cancel. And so until about 3 o'clock, I don't have shit to do. And I feel like a lot of people say that they don't see me on live, and I get it. So I'm just been trying to be more intentional and hop on live. But I also kind of wanted to know, like, because in the last couple of weeks, I've been doing a lot of planning around the new cycle that's coming in March or whatever, and like things that I'm interested in doing. And I've kind of been making movement on that. I seen this guy on TikTok who in LA, they opened up this huge art space, and like on next Thursday they're doing like inviting all these artists who are like putting up their art, and they're having like DJs and food and all kind of shit. And so I've already seen movement on the things that I say that I want. I've been seeing movement on it really quickly. And so I also want to say, this year, you have to be intentional about what it is that you say you want, because I think that it's happening really fast. Like, I think it's happening really fast. I don't think that and maybe that's the reason why I feel like there is no separation between me and my choices, because I think that that's the case for everybody. Like, I think that if you make a decision, you are moving in that direction quicker than you normally would be. You know, and I don't know, this year kind of feels like a fire. Like, it feels like fire. It feels like Sagittarius. It feels like that type of energy, like it's moving quick, you know? And so I say that I want to go horseback riding. That day I get a call from somebody who's like, oh, I can take you horseback riding. You know, I say that I want to do things more artsy. I get on TikTok. I see somebody who's doing like an art convention. I also see that the girl whose art I've been ranting and raving, the girl who I was telling y'all who beats the paintings, I found out she has an art exhibit in LA right now. I didn't fucking know that. You know, and it's like, oh shit, I can go do that. You know, my friends hitting me up to go to the movies. Friends hitting me up to go to a bookstore. I hit somebody up to go to a bookstore. And I want us to pick out books. And then I want us to go and get subs. And then I want us to go have lunch in the park and just kind of read and enjoy being outside and stuff like that. And it just feels like everything is aligning, you know, quickly. Anything that I say that I want is like appearing. And so, yeah, just be more intentional this year, because I think things are happening fast. And if you can learn how to nurture your mind, and you can learn how to align yourself with the choices that are going to get you closer to where you were trying to go, I think it's going to change everything, you know? And I also realized too, and I talked about this yesterday on live, like, you need a sacred structure for your life in order for energy to flow through. And so you need to kind of develop some type of routine, but you want it to kind of be like a loose routine, but you need to develop some type of routine so that the energy can flow through you as a channel. I'm going to look for those events here. Yeah, like, I've been looking for all kind of stuff. And I've seen that Olivia Dean, which is right now my favorite artist, is going to be in LA in May. I'm super excited about that. Her concert tickets, though, she like made a post because her concert tickets are like $600-700, and originally it was like $130 or something like that. And so she made a post and was basically saying that if they don't lower the prices on Ticketmaster, that she will pull the show altogether, because she don't believe in price gouging and stuff like that. And I'm like, good on you, girl, because all we do is have to stand up to the corporations. Most of us are not standing up to the corporations, and that's the problem. That's why we can't get shit done. But I've been finding stuff that I want to do around LA, which is just really cool. Like, and too, like, I feel like we have gotten so used to taking stuff online or like doing stuff from home and stuff like that, to where we don't want to interact with other people. Like, I would rather go take a guitar lesson in person. I would rather go take an art class in person. I would rather go make pasta in person, you know, because I feel like I think social media in general has created this false sense of community where we feel like we have community, but we actually are not a part of a community. We talk to a bunch of random people who we talk to them about 5-10 minutes and we think that little hit is enough when it comes to connection. And it's just like, then you get in front of the person and you don't even know what to say to them, you know? So I feel like I also want to be more intentional about doing things in person this year, because I don't want a false sense of community. I don't want a false sense of self. I don't want a false sense of anything. Yeah, I told myself I'm going to open up to new people and groups to do different things. Yeah, I was talking to a client yesterday and I was telling her, like, she been inside for like 10 years. I'm like, sister, listen, sister, as a person who was inside for a long ass motherfucking time, all right, get outside. Like, we need to get outside. We need to start trusting people again. Or even, you don't even really need to trust people. You need to trust yourself. Trust that you're not going to abandon yourself. You know, and it hurts me so bad that it's those of us who are the healers. You know, those of us who have the healing energy are the ones who don't feel safe in this society, because we're rejected. We're rejected because our society is built a certain way that's meant to oppress us, you know? And so I was telling her to get outside. But I think sometimes too, when you just been hurt so much, you start convincing yourself that everybody is against you or everything is against you. And it's just like, no, they're not. Like, you play a role in that thing, you know? Like, you are playing a role in every single situation because you are a participant in your life. You know, I think that when they say there's two sides to situations, there's their part and there's also your part, you know? And so, like, when experiences happen for me, I've been looking at both sides, meaning like I kind of remove the emotion out of it because I don't let the message or the lesson get lost in the mess. And I look at their side. And it could be that person did something to me, yes, but I don't stay there because there's nothing I can do from that place, because you can't really change people. I decide whether or not I want that person in my life, and then I move on. I don't make it a thing about me. I don't make it a thing about our relationship. Hey, Callie, I just kind of have been, it just is what it is. Like, everything is data collection, you know? And so it's just like, oh, well, I mean, that person's not for me. That's okay. Move in a different direction, even if I like them. But I think sometimes we think that we like people just because we're not used to liking people. Does that make sense? It's like, I'm not easily impressed as a person. I don't know why. I'm just not, you know, like, I'm not easily impressed. But I feel like back in the day when I was starved for attention, anybody who came along who I felt like got it, I was like obsessed with them, and I would put them on this pedestal as if they were doing something so fucking grand, and I would start people pleasing because that was the only way I knew how to be in relationships. And I would eventually be like, when the friendship ends, it's like, I don't think I ever liked this person. I just was forcing myself to like this person, you know, because they came around and they said the right things at the right time. And you know, whatever the case may be, when I think relationships now are more about alignment, like, everybody that I'm in community with right now is interested in the same things as me, which is a really good feeling. Like, I had someone who I consider her to be a friend just because I think our journeys were meant to cross paths, because I was doing a reading for her and she said something and I was like, that's interesting. And so I looked into her past life, which at that time, I'd only ever did that like twice before. And so I looked into her past life and she was telling me about something about like her not wanting to have kids or whatever in this reality. And I started picking up on, in her field, it's almost like something felt like it was opening. And so I started writing it down, and it was like, I feel like your kid died in front of you and da-da-da. And then she started telling me about this dream she had about her kid getting mauled by a bear in front of her. And she's like, she's always had this fear of bears, and she lives in Hawaii. Ain't no fucking bears over there. You know, and I'm like, yeah, I think we're onto something. So we had a conversation about it. She goes on a hike after that. She has the full memory come back, you know? And so I feel like that situation kind of connected us. And I like met her in person. We went to go have tea, which was so adult. You know, that was very adult of me. And so we went and had tea and just like kind of hung out and just got to know each other. And she like hit me up the other day because she's going to be in LA this month, which I'm really excited about. But she's like, oh yeah, I brought you a gift from Kenya or whatever. And I was like, you bought me a gift? Like, I don't know how to receive that sometimes because I'm used to always being the considerate one. I'm used to being the one who's always doing things for other people. And so to get that back, I was just like, oh my God, you bought me a gift? Like, what the hell? I didn't know it was at the gift giving stage. If we're at the gift giving stage, then I could be, I don't know, it just made me feel like I could be my full self, because I also feel like because I'm such a lover, and if I'm in a friendship with you, whatever, I am 100%. I'm either 0 or 100%. I don't have no middle ground. Like, there's nothing, either I like you or I don't like you. But if I like you, sometimes I'll be feeling like I do too much, because like I'll be at the store and I'll be like, oh, I'm heading to my friend's house. You know what? I know that she likes this. Let me grab that. But then I had to stop doing that, because then I started feeling like at the end of the relationship, like, you low-key had me fucked up. You know, you didn't consider me. I started, almost taking tally or feeling bad about being that version of me, but that's just who I am. And so she made me feel like it is okay for me to return to that version, because again, I've learned a lot through relationships, and I feel like I had been hurt in relationships, and I stopped doing the things that felt very natural to me because I didn't want to look like a fool, or I didn't want the pain to be exacerbated when shit goes wrong. But why are we planning for shit to go wrong? Like, I have to be in this place now in my journey that I know that the people that come in my life are actually aligned with me. And because I know now that the people are aligned with me, and that I'm really good at communicating, I'm really good at having difficult conversations, which was hard for me before. It's just like, no, now you can just be that person, and whoever doesn't align, you will see the signs when you need to see the signs and be able to move accordingly, And so she made me see that the other day, and I didn't even tell her that. Oh yeah, I'm a Taurus too, girl. But I didn't even tell her that. But I don't know. And speaking of Taurus, though, I want to mention this. I have started to fall in love with the choices that I made to become this version, right? Because we only came here to do two things. The first thing is to become aware of ourselves, which means that we came here on a journey of self-discovery. And through every experience that you have, based on how it makes you feel, it's going to tell you if you liked it or if you didn't. You're supposed to be going towards the things that you like and moving away from the things that you don't like, which means that you don't have to have a tolerance for abuse. You don't have to have a tolerance for struggle. You don't have to have a tolerance for people coming at you sideways. You don't have to do that. If you don't like it, it don't feel good to you, you can get the fuck on. That's what you're supposed to be doing, right? But as we become aware of ourselves, we're supposed to start expressing from that perspective, right? Which means we are creators. We are creators. We are creators. Every choice you make is a creation. You are opening up a timeline or a set of timelines. Oh, I'm getting ringing in my ear. Or a set of timelines, right? And so you're a creator. And so you're meant to express, which means you're meant to speak your truth. But you got to be talking to people who are willing to change. You need to be talking to people who are aligned, not just any fucking willy-nilly, right? And so as I've been focusing on that, because my goal this year is not to be better, not to work harder, none of that shit. I don't want none of that shit. My only goal this year is to be truer to myself, right? In the process of me doing that, I have fell in love with the choices that I made, meaning like my mom. I know for a fact why I chose that woman as my mom, because my mom has a beautiful heart. She's always on the right side of history. Do she go about it the right way? No, she would rather just burn all this shit down, but me, I feel like I'm a little bit more heart-centered, because Taurus is really good at appreciating the material realm, appreciating emotional vulnerability in relationships, understanding that self-love comes before community with other people. And a lot of us are missing that aspect of self-love, and a lot of us are afraid of emotional vulnerability, right? And so I think my mama had me because she struggles with emotional vulnerability, right? But she gave me the heart of a fucking warrior. I've always stood on the right side of history. I cannot sit around and watch people suffer and not say anything or not give a fuck. I cannot do that. Like, I'm not programmed that way. I genuinely care about people. If somebody is having a hard time, I want to see if there's something I can do to take that off of them. But that's our story. That comes from the experiences that we had together, But it also made me feel like, too, that my childhood, as terrible as it felt while I was in that motherfucker. As much as I wanted to go ahead and just, you know, it built me. It built me to survive this reality, because I think what we miss in this reality is capacity. You don't need, I seen a video earlier today that was like, you don't need freedom. You need the capacity. You need capacity, right? And so meaning like your capacity to hold multiple things at once, your capacity to choose without losing yourself, your capacity to show up in relationships without losing yourself. Like you need a bigger capacity, your capacity to hold nuance, you know, to be flexible, to realize that we're all different and we're going to have different fucking opinions and be able to still stay in community with people who don't think like you or think different. It's about capacity, you know? And so I think that everything that I've been through in my childhood was building up my capacity to receive, to be in community with other people, just all of it. And I spent so much of my life looking at that as like it was punishment. And it wasn't. Like, it gave me a certain set of skills that I feel like other people lack sometimes. It gave me a view on life that's coming from the lens of grace and compassion that I feel like other people lack sometimes. And so it's just like, I see the beauty in my experiences. I know exactly why I chose my mama. I know exactly why I chose my brother. And our relationship hasn't been easy. Happy birthday to my brother. It's his birthday today. Our relationship hasn't been easy, but my brother has been the only person that I feel like can bring me back to reality. Like when I'm being a bitch or when I'm stuck in my own trauma, my brother is the only person to be like, why the fuck do you act like that? You know, and for me to actually listen, because I don't listen to nobody. I don't listen to not a damn person. My brother say something and they're just like, why am I like that? You're right. You know, and it makes me self-reflect. And it's just like, I know why I chose him. I know why I chose my little cousins. I know why I chose me. Like this specific, why did I choose this lens to look through life? You know? And it's like, when I think about the things that I like about myself, it's not the things that people would think. It's how clever I am, how brilliant I am, almost to my own fucking detriment sometimes. Sometimes I'll be catching myself and I'll be like, oh, that was a crafty way to do something the wrong way, bitch. You know, like I like that I have a balance to me. I'm not all love and light. I don't want to be all love and light. Life is not all love and light. You know, like people are going through shit, and I think when you all love and light, you use that as a shield to bypass the real shit that's happening in life, you know. And I was talking to somebody the other day, and we were talking about art. And you know, I feel like Black people are so creative because Black people have depth, because they don't get the luxury of ignoring trauma, because trauma is the environment we live in. You know, and I think that when you've been oppressed, when you've been at the bottom, you have to learn to be resourceful. You have to learn to find a way to bring joy in a situation that constantly feels like grief. And so that the reason why I feel like our creativity is unmatched and everybody always have their eyes on us and everybody is always mimicking what we're doing is that we have a connection to our soul, because we don't get to ignore the real deep shit that's happening in life. It softens us. And that's why we're the most compassionate people, the most people who can extend people grace. Anybody. You see, you on a plane and a baby start crying, there's probably a Black mother who's going to get up and rock your fucking baby so you can have a second. You know, I love that about us. And I hate that people shame us for just being compassionate people. I hate that people shame us for being understanding like this is another mother. It doesn't matter what the color of your skin. This is another mother. She's struggling right now. Let me just help her. It ain't nothing like a Black mama. You know? Ain't nothing like a Black mama. I'm telling you. Right? And so I just feel like people be wanting to benefit from our creativity without acknowledging how we get there. How we got there. You know, I seen a girl who posted earlier and she was doing like emo rock, but like R&B vibe. I don't know. It was interesting. It was beautiful to watch, right? And so somebody's in the comments like, when are we gonna, this white guy's in the comment and he gonna say, well, when are we gonna start calling this cultural appropriation? When did y'all create rock music is what I was saying. I was like, wait a second. Do you not know the history of where rock music comes? That is us, sir. Like, why do y'all be trying to claim stuff that don't belong to y'all? I'm sorry. Do y'all come in and do a good job? Yes. But don't forget that you're the vampire on Sinners. You're not the thing. you know? And it just be, oh, it's frustrating. But I feel like our creativity comes from our emotional depth, because we don't get the luxury of not looking at the hard things, because everything is set up to work against us, you know? And so I think that society has kind of put white people, or people who align with whiteness, at a disadvantage, because they prioritize their comfort. They've shielded them from their own impact. And now they're operating from this place of fear. And they always have to be in this fear energy, in this chasing energy, in this networking sales, like chasing something. They always have to be chasing something, you know? They always have to be chasing something. Yeah, so we can't appropriate what's ours, rock and roll, jazz. Exactly. We cannot appropriate what we created. You know, we cannot appropriate what we created. And I'm even going to say created, because we really channel it down, you know, but you couldn't reach that frequency. So don't come over here trying to act like that came from you. You mimicked something, and yes, you were good at it. They make some good rock music, you know, heavy metal. They make some good that shit, right? But let's not forget the fabric that began, the seed that was sown. You know, I think that's why we cannot take stuff serious so much too, is because we know to adapt and laugh. Yes, it's because we've literally had everything constantly stripped from us. We know that even if we own something, we don't. And I feel like that's where trademarks and copyrights and shit like that, trademarks, copyrights, all that shit was so that they could steal our shit in peace. So that they could steal our shit in peace. And so half of our shit has been taken. We know that we don't get nothing because they're always chasing something. And what they're chasing is money. And it comes from an insecurity of not having, of feeling like they was in the bottom. And so when you move in from a place of fear and ego, because that's what that's about. That's why they need to make money our master. You know, that's why they need to convince and manipulate other people to do the work for them so that they don't have to work, right? You're always going to have to be in that energy, you know? And when you look at people like Diddy, for example, if you watch that 50 Cent documentary, I feel like I got something different than everybody else from that. Because what I got is when you're moving from an insecure place, that insecurity doesn't go away. You just an insecure nigga with money. And then the insecure, every decision you make is from that place of fear that people are going to find out that you're a fraud, that people are going to find out that you're not who you say you are. And so you have to do X, Y, and Z to constantly keep covering it up. You know, what Diddy did is he tried to play that game. But the problem is that you don't have their privilege. And I find that there are so many people that I come across who act like white people, but they don't have white privilege. And then they shocked when that shit don't work out like that. They shocked when they betray them or they abandon them. Baby, white people, one thing I will say about them is they look out for their own, period. They are always going to look out for their own. And when I say their own, I just mean other white men. So when it comes down to it, it's always going to be snaking you, because you're never supposed to be at the table. But also, if you look at it too, you know, the highest of the high, they snake each other. You know? And that's why I feel like Jay-Z's a snake. He snakes everybody who comes in contact with him. He'll go behind your back and do some shit. You know, he'll cut you out your own shit. He's the worst of them. You know, but I feel like it also is a testament to this country, because I think a lot of the reasons why we haven't seen changes within this company is because black men actually like the way that it's set up, because they actually want to be in the position that white men are in. They don't see that it's not benefiting them because they have male privilege. They have a little privilege in the system, and now they think they free slaves. You're not free. You're not free. It's not working for you either. It's not even working for them. You know, trying to explain this to my girlfriend with excessive white friends, no shade. Yeah, because also too, me being a person who has been in community with white women, you know, because my half of my family, my grandmother is white and her sisters are white, and there's a lot of them, right? The shit that they do to each other is diabolical. I feel like black women have standards when it comes to our friends. Like, You down the hallway sleeping with my husband? What the fuck? Bitch, I'm about to skew you. Wait a second. Yeah, music started playing. It scared the shit out of me. But what's crazy is the music cut it out. Just started playing, which is crazy. That was confirmation. But what I'm saying is like the things that they do to their sisters, crazy, unimaginable. But then trying to be friends with them. Like I remember I had one friend and I love this friend down. Nobody could tell me nothing about her. She was not stereotypical white woman besides the fact that she has blonde hair and blue eyes. You know, like I feel like she was bigger. She was just not, she doesn't fit the mold or whatever, but I loved her down. That was my bitch and you couldn't tell me nothing about her. And I remember one time the dude I was dating, like she dropped a couch on his foot, which I mean, I get it. But she walked out and he started like calling her all these fat white bitches and all that type of shit. And I cussed his ass clean the fuck out and he was shocked by that. But I was just like, no, I don't care. If I say that you're my friend, you're under my protection. You know, you're always under my protection. That's just how I am. I'm a Taurus. We never played about our friends, right? But I spent a great deal thinking that this person was my friend back. And I remember that I was dating somebody and every time that I would see her, she would be asking me about this person that I was dating, and nobody really knows who I'm dating when I'm dating somebody because, you know, I'm an undercover brother. I be in the shadows somewhere. I don't need people to know my business, you know, because men is a humiliation ritual for sure. So I'm dating somebody and she keeps asking me about them every single time that I talk to her. And I'm just like, oh, okay, you know, like she my friend, like maybe she just whatever. Come to find out, one of her friends dies. And then the next time I see her, she was like, yeah, my friend was dating him too. And I was like, dating him too? For how long? Oh, just about the same time as y'all. So you was what was you collecting information? What was you sharing? What were you doing? Why were you asking me that then? And now you want to try to tell me because the girl died? Are you okay? Like I literally have not fucked with her since that day because I was just like, are you serious? The man wasn't shit. You know, it's not on the girls. I would definitely say that. But I feel like as my friend, that's crazy. That's actually insane. You know? And then she brought it up so casually, like, yeah. And then now she want to tell me the whole story. Now she want to tell me the whole story and what happened and da-da-da-da and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, I was silent. I was silenced because I also don't want to be the nigga in the situation because I had half a mind to flip that motherfucking plate up into her face and I said, you know what? Not today, Satan. Not today. So what I'm saying is, as a person who has been in community with them, as a person who has worked with them, because even in corporate, you know, I have only ever had my job sabotaged by white women. Only ever. I had them work. One of them I was defending. Come to find out she was working behind my back because they was both trying to push me out. And I thought she was my friend. It was a dude at the bar. She's like, oh my gosh, she's so cute. He was like a white dude with like longer hair. He actually was a nice looking guy. Like kind of looked like he could be Italian or something like that. And she was acting all shy. So I went over there and wrapped that nigga up for her. Like, you know, with my charisma. Brought him to the table for you. And you out here sneaking behind my back trying to push me out. Crazy. That's why I don't get close. I see how they treat one another. Yeah, I feel like, I don't think all white women are like that though, because I think there are white women and there are women who happen to be white. I don't think all white women are like that, but I do think you have to, if you're going to be in community with white women, you have to be in a community with white women who are willing to be uncomfortable. They have to be willing to be uncomfortable, because if they're not going to be able to give up their comfort, because they also are protected by privilege. If not, they're not going to be willing to give up their comfort. They're never going to understand you. In order for you to like coming into black space is like you coming into a different country. You're in a different country. You don't know our language. Don't come in here acting like you know our language. Because for them To be honest, trauma is just a detour on a journey. It's something, a small income, it's an inconvenience that happens, but it's not something that lasts forever. They usually have a supported, resourced life. For us, trauma is the environment we live in. And so if you come in this space, you have to be willing to get uncomfortable, because when we're talking about the things that we go through, you cannot internalize that and think that we're talking about you specifically as a person, but you also cannot dismiss black people in their own space. Because I think that a lot of times we get gaslit out of our experience by our white counterparts. And it's just like, and it sounds innocent, but it's not innocent. Every time they say, well, let's just have fun. You know, let's not focus. Let's not be serious. Like, let's just have fun. They're trying to bypass being uncomfortable in your space when you don't get the luxury of just having fun, you know? And I hate to say it that way, but it's the truth. It's the truth. And so unless they are willing to be uncomfortable in your space, unless they are willing to acknowledge the harm that has been exacted against you and that is still being exacted against you, because trauma is not a thing of the past for us. It is a current situation. Unless they're willing to do that, then you can't be in community with them, because you're constantly going to have to be, or you're constantly going to feel like you're the fucking mammy, or you're the fucking, I don't know. I feel like with that specific dynamic, it's the emotional labor that black women have to do with white women, because they don't know how to get their needs met without being a victim. And I'm saying that as a person who has a white grandmother. And 9 times out of 10, a lot of them subconsciously think that they're better than us and will say things that indicate that they think that they're better than us. And I hate to say it that way, but I had to check them multiple times. I done spent my whole life checking them. You know, it's for real, but not everybody's like that though. And you got to know that. You got to know that, because I think sometimes we consistently try to group everybody together. There's no grouping everybody together, because everybody's an individual, you know? And I think that we be trying to protect ourselves from being hurt. And I think that that's fair. We have a reason to do that. However, you cannot treat everybody as if they are the same person, because they are not. You don't know what their experiences are. I've met, and I don't know what's wrong. I don't know what's up with the redheads. But the redheads get it. Why? Because the redheads have also been oppressed, right? They be calling them fire crotch and be bullying them and ginger snap and all kind of shit. And so they've been bullied by their own people. They like the redheaded stepchild is what they call it. So they understand oppression, because they have also too within their group subgroup been oppressed, you know? So they get it. Them is not the people that we talking about. And that's why I feel like you have to know the difference between somebody who's white and somebody who happens to be white, you know, and get around people who don't want to cause harm and know what it looks like when they're causing harm to us, because it's very subtle and it's very passive aggressive. Oh my gosh, how'd your hair grow that long? Bitch, I had a bob yesterday. This is the 36-inch bust down. Obviously, you know this is the fucking wig. Like, obviously, you know that this is a wig. You know that it's impossible, but they play stupid. They play in our faces sometimes, and it just be like, girl. Anywho, I don't know how I got on that tangent, but it's just kind of crazy, you know, and I'm in this place where I am open, but it has to be people who understand and do not dismiss my plight, you know, like even working, like it's so hard sometimes, because I feel like it's even exhausting having to explain this to people. It's exhausting to even have to explain this to people. You know, but also, you know, it's not our job either. You know, I think people who want to know, go and pick up a book. People who want to know, go and do the research. People who want to understand, go and do the research. You know, people who want the truth are going to seek the truth. People who don't, who want to stay comfortable or not. And so you got to know when you're in the midst. You got to know when you're in the midst. And you also got to know when you can influence and when you can't influence too. Because I also got stuck in a trap when I was younger of just fighting every fight. Fighting every fight. Everything was a fight, right? But you can't talk to somebody who is not willing to change. You can't talk to somebody who is determined to be right instead of being honest. You know, and you got to know that too, because then you just giving them your energy. And baby, you ain't about to build an empire off my fucking energy, bitch. Never. You know? So it's just crazy. I'm in a great place though. I'm in a place where I really truly understand who I am and what I stand for. And I'm standing on that. It's hard though, because I feel like I've walked away from opportunities for sure. You know, I've definitely walked away from opportunities that I think that could have been lucrative for me. I think it's for me, it's probably just going to be a longer journey, and that's okay, because I expect it to sustain for a long time as well. And so I'm okay with taking a long route. I'm okay as long as it does not cause me to have to compromise who I am as a person. You know, I don't ever want to, I've done too much of it in my life, and not even in big ways, because I feel like I've always been true to myself. Like I've always had standards. I've always had, no, I'm not doing that. Like I'm not going to participate in that. You know, I've always been the voice of reason, but I think that now I'm just bolder in it. And it's coming from this place of, it's not coming from this place of being wounded or in pain. It comes from this place of clarity. It comes from a place of me being anchored in my truth, you know. And I think a lot of us, the reason why a lot of us experience pain and suffering, and the reason why a lot of us feel miserable, and the reason why a lot of us deal with sadness, is because we're not aligned with our truth. We're aligned with somebody else's truth. You know, we're not aligned with our truth. We don't even know who we are half the time. And that's why people can project onto you, and you think that that's your weight to carry. Like somebody saying you're sensitive. No, you feel like I'm sensitive. Don't put your feelings on me and think it's my responsibility to shapeshift because you don't like an aspect that you think I exhibit. I am not sensitive. You feel like I'm sensitive. You know, but somebody who doesn't know themselves is going to say, I'm sensitive. And then they're going to spend the rest of their life trying to prove that they're not sensitive. You know, they're going to build up all these walls around their heart to try to prove that they're not sensitive, when being sensitive is literally what we came here to do. Sensitivity is awareness. Sensitivity is awareness. People who don't feel things, people who are numb, are people who lack awareness, are they not? They don't know how they feel about anything. They lack awareness. Sensitivity is awareness. That's how you get to know yourself, is being sensitive. You are a feeling being, right? As above, so below. This is a water planet. Most of this planet is water, which means most of your body is water. Water is emotional energy. We live in an oceanic frequency. The waves, the ups and downs, it's an oceanic frequency. Which means in order for you to survive this reality, you have to know how to feel. But not only do you know how to feel, you also need to learn how to sit in stillness with those emotions so you can gain the wisdom, because every single emotion has a story to it. Every emotion has a story to it. It's telling you something. It's trying to help you to take that water into wine, that emotion into wisdom, because we're here to grow and evolve together, which means that when you gain the wisdom from your experiences, you are meant to share them with people who want to hear it. With people who want to hear it. You know? And so you being sensitive was never a problem. But if you don't know yourself, you'll internalize that. You'll spend the rest of your life trying not to do that. Or somebody calling you selfish, and then you spend the rest of your life people pleasing. You know, or somebody saying that you're annoying, and then so you spend the rest of your life being silent because you try not to annoy people. It was never your burden to carry. Don't let people project their feelings about you onto you and think that that's your responsibility. I spent my whole life doing that shit. It is miserable. You're living underneath somebody else's truth, not your truth. You just because they say it don't mean it's facts. We live in a society, especially in America, where we think opinions are fucking facts. Opinions are not facts. Opinions are not rooted in any type of truth. Actually, the opinion's energy is only meant to help you to form a hypothesis. And a hypothesis is something that you plan to prove, which means you need to then look for the evidence for your opinion. But nobody's doing the other part. Nobody's taking opinion's energy and using it as fuel to fuel your curiosity. and going to do the research and going within and seeing what spirit says. Nobody's doing the other part that's needed for that energy. Everybody's operating out of the shadow aspect. And so everybody is just listening to people, voice their opinions. If it resonates with them, then they just repeat that shit. But then when you actually challenge them, there's a fear of incompetence that actually comes with opinions energy. That's why you need energetic literacy. That's why you need to understand energetic literacy. That's why I'm opening up a soul school. Next Friday, my soul school launches, Akara. Classes start March 22nd. You know, because you need to understand opinions energy comes with a fear of incompetence. And what happens in opinions energy when you don't feel confident in the information that you have, you're immediately going to focus on being right instead of being honest. Because you have a fear of being seen as incompetent, being seen as a fraud. But the truth of the matter is you're just regurgitating what you heard. And so the fear is a little valid if you ain't gone and done your research. You know, I think we also use skepticism energy wrong too. The energy of doubt is only telling you that you're sensing logical inconsistencies in information. So that it's supposed to fuel your curiosity, because we are curious beings. The divine feminine is curiosity. Your intuition is your curiosity. There's no separation between the two. Your intuition makes you feel like, something ain't right here, right? It's your curiosity. You know, it's your skepticism. It's your doubt. It's your ability to sense logical inconsistencies. And then you're supposed to explore. You're supposed to be curious. You're supposed to ask questions. And if that person cannot answer those questions, you're supposed to go and research questions. You're supposed to actually let your curiosity drive the car, because your curiosity is your higher self. But we go to school and school conditions us out of our curiosity, right? Because if your questions don't fit the framework that they are meant to teach us, what do they say? They call you a disruptor. There's some type of negative consequence to you being curious beyond the fallacy that they're trying to sell you. You know? And so school systems are designed to stifle your curiosity. And now they got all these things distracting you, because kids is growing up as iPad kids. These kids literally will throw a fucking temper tantrum if their iPad is not charged up. They'll throw it at you, throw it at the ground, break it. They don't give a fuck. And they do nothing but sit in front of the TV every single day. They're like little zombies. They're like little zombies. We used to be outside until the street lights came on playing curveball, playing hide and seek. We used to play this game called Hitman. It was like Hitman, right? There was somebody who was the hitman, and there was groups of people. And you would hide all over, like it's like a certain neighborhood. You could hide anywhere in that neighborhood. And there was always a hitman, and you couldn't get hit by somebody else's hitman. We used to play dodgeball. We used to play motherfucking basketball, pig, horse, dynamite. Like they don't do nothing. They even in school on computers. We used to have computer lab, but all of their textbooks is digital now. Double Dutch, yeah. All of their textbooks is hopscotch. All of their textbooks are digital. They don't even have physical textbooks no more. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. I think that it's just crazy, man. I don't know what else to say about that. It's just kind of crazy to me. It's like, oh, as long as his iPad is charged up, he should be good for the night. It's just like, well, y'all are not parenting y'all kids. The iPads are parenting y'all kids. Y'all are not parenting y'all kids. There's just another way for people to escape their kids, but they want them kids so fucking bad. If you're not going to be an active participant in that kid's life, you're doing them a disservice, And that's why I feel like so many people have trouble with their kids, because they have the kids and then they just want to sit the kid in front of the TV so that they could go on about their life. And it's like, no, you had the kids. Now you have to play with the kids. You have to teach the kids. There's all kind of shit on Amazon where you can get like the science labs, and you can make fucking lava lamps, or anything. But people are just making little robots. Duck, duck. Oh, how I miss it. Yes. You know, like, I feel like we going somewhere else that I don't like. And PE is an elective now. They don't have it every day like we used to. That's just not fair. That's just not fair. And we had to swim, because I'm from the Midwest. We had to swim at least 2 semesters. It was not fun. It was not fun. They didn't give a fuck about your hair. And you could have just got your hair done. You could even have money not to even, you could have been somebody who don't even have money to get your hair redone. They didn't give a fuck. They swim cap, saran wrap, figure it out. Figure it the fuck out. Go to school, fucking last period with the back of my head crunchy as fuck. Or the whole head is just soaked. You know? No, we need to create environments for kids to, cause what it does, or like what I feel like it does, is like it creates this illusion of dopamine, this illusion of joy, and it causes kids to get addicted to it. And anytime that they don't have that quick dopamine hit, they're violent. They're violent. They're violent. You know? And so it's the illusion of joy. That's what they selling people through the iPads, the illusion of joy. That's what they selling people through the internet, the illusion of community, you know, so that you don't go out there and get the real thing. Everybody is just staying in their house. I think some of the things that we used to do back in the day are useful, meaning like having community homes. Everybody does not need their own apartment. Everybody does not need their own thing. You know, we used to raise our babies together. You know, like, I feel like everybody feels like they have to prove something, or they have to, you know, like, bring back community homes. If your parents got it, why would you go out there and struggle on purpose? You know, I feel like recess and playtimes and like all of that shit, you know, like, I feel like making your food at home. So many people now, they kids is McDonald's every day. Like, no, cook for your children, please. Cook for your children. You know, like, I feel like that stuff used to be a luxury. Like, you ain't got McDonald's money. You ain't got, nah, I'm going home making taco salad. Okay, girl, I like taco salad. You know, like, I feel like it used to be a luxury, and now it's just like every day. And so, like, you're more subjected to other people's shit, meaning like these companies do not care about you, because if they did care about you, then they would just make it a standard across the board, but they not. And what I mean by that is, you go to Europe, they don't allow specific shit in Europe. And so that means that the companies are already making a version that is better for you, but they're not sending that to you. Why would that be? Right? Because kids be taking photos of their child in the shower. Wait, what? Wait, what'd you say before that? The reason PE is an elective now is because so many schools have been sued because kids been taking photos of their children in the shower. What the fuck? I feel like too, and I hate this because I was in high school once. Okay, and when I went to high school, 8th grade is when cell phones start being a public thing, meaning like everybody had them. Was 8th grade for me. And so when I went to high school, I used to hate the teachers who would, as soon as you come in, phones in a bucket. Phones in a bucket. I used to hate that shit. I'm not going to lie. Because I wanted to text my boys. The boys in motion. I wanted to text them, you know, throughout the day. However, you're supposed to be at school. You're supposed to be learning. And I think that, too, if they made the classroom more enjoyable, people wouldn't be on their fucking phones. You know, because I remember being in certain classes and we would, like, play certain games like Heads Up, 7-Up or whatever the fuck. And it's like, during those games, I'm locked the fuck in. You know, I feel like we need to make learning fun again. And because learning is not fun and it's boring and it's somebody just standing up there fucking talking at you the whole time, like, I feel like they would rather be doing something else. I feel like our school system isn't working. Our health system isn't working. Our education, nothing is working. And so if it's not working, then we need to do something else. But I feel like we've also been conditioned to be compliant. And so there's not a lot of people who are actually going to do more than talk about it, because we have been conditioned to only talk about it, because every single time that through school, through religion, through whatever, we've been punished anytime that we've actually done something about it, because they're trying to teach you compliance. from a very young age. And they make it very clear that if you go against their system, you will be punished. And not everybody wants to put their skin on the line. And that's why you get people who burn themselves in front of the Capitol building, or you get people who, and it's because they don't know what else to do. They don't know what else to do because there's so many of us who have a weak masculine principle. And they did that on purpose. They're doing it through the food. They're doing it through the air. They're weakening your masculine principle. And your masculine principle is your ability to make decisions for yourself. That's what your ability to direct your will. Most people think that they don't have a choice. And so they do nothing outside of what has been prescribed for them. And it's a lot of people who don't, so dependent on other people that they got to call 10 people before they can even make a decision, and then they still don't know what decision to make. The shit is crazy. Art and music should not be an elective. That should be a requirement because everybody is a creative. And I hate that. Yeah, they have different goals for the kids. They want the kids to be robots. He keeps saying, make America great again. That is how we make it great, make learning fun again. Yeah, I think we need to make learning fun again. I think we need to bring back I think micro communities. I don't know why that feels like a thing, but that feels like a thing. Like, I feel like instead of everybody, we don't need everybody to come together. Like, we need micro communities, like small pods of people, right? Because why are they giving kindergartners laptops? Insanity. I hate that. I hate that for us, because I feel like they don't need that. Like, if you look at kindergarten classes in China, the things that they have these children doing that are like little 5-year-olds are cooking their own meal, and they got like little safe knives for them and safe pots and pans and making their own slime, making their own lava lamps, making their own, like, they're having fun. They're learning a lot. But they don't treat their kids as like they're children. Like, I think we treat kids, we think kids are kids until they're 18. We don't give them no autonomy. We don't give them no voice. We don't, like, kids are the most oppressed people in this country. I don't care. Right behind black women are children. Children have no say-so. They have no autonomy. When in the ancient world, once you turned 8, you were technically considered to be an adult. And what I mean by that is, like, they don't treat you with safe hands and safe gloves. It's like, no, like, this is what, like, they give you autonomy. They allow you to be a person. They allow you to have a voice in the decisions that are being made about you, right? And then they don't become fully developed until they're 25. 25 was like when they go into initiation into their journey of healing, right? Hey, Yashika. But at 25, that's when they started going back towards themselves. Now, everything that has happened in the first part of your life, it had trauma, it was experiences. But now, how do you alchemize those experiences into helping you to figure out who you are? But I think that it's not about, they want everybody to be the same, everybody to be copy paste, because then you're easier to manipulate. You're easier to control that way. But when everybody is an individual, they have to account for individuality. And so I think authenticity is the best form of rebellion. Figuring out who you are, doing it your own way. If we stop giving attention to their systems, they fall away. But it's our participation in them that is keeping them alive. If you don't like what's happening in the school systems, pull your kids out. Well, I don't have time. I got to make money. Then find a way to make money. Find a way to make money, figure out who you are, create from that place, and let you be the money. You are the money. That's the truth of it. The truth of it all is that you've always been the money. But because they tell you in this specific country, they tell you that art or artists are starving. They got sex addictions. They got drug addictions. They are depressed people. They're sad. They can never make no money. They're homeless. They're leeches. All of that, because they sell you that story. That's what you think when it comes to you being a creator. And you also compare yourself to people who have been doing this shit for 15, 20 years. And so you don't even allow yourself to fail, And so you can't even explore yourself. So many of us don't even know how to explore ourselves because we're too afraid of failure. We're too afraid of how other people are going to perceive us. We're too afraid of whether or not people are going to receive us. you know? And it's done that way purposefully. It's done intentionally to keep you from finding you, because if you never find you, then I can tell you who you are. If you're looking outside of yourself for answers, if you're in a seeking, searching energy, I can just give you the answers that I want you to have. You know? It's fucked up. But it's how life is. And I think the only way for us to change it is we need to heal ourselves. It starts with us first. Because when you heal, you're not about to just go for anything. Me, I could never go back. I could never go back. Because I honor myself and I know myself. And that I know that that's a soul-sucking thing. I know that that's going to kill me from the inside, because it's killed me before. It killed me over and over again. You know? And so I could never do that. I could never do that again. But I would have never been bold enough to do what I do on the internet had I not just took the chance. You know? Because I've been told I'm a know-it-all my whole life. And it's like, I do know a lot though. Why is that a problem? Why? I think we should, because knowledge is the key to expansion. We came here to expand. That means that you don't know. Whatever you think you know, you don't. And if you take on that attitude and you become a student of life and understand that everything is teaching you, that's how you grow and evolve. And then you let your curiosity guide you, but that's how you grow and evolve. And so we came here to be multiple things. We did not come here to just be one thing, but they tell you you only need to be one thing. That's not true. There's only one source energy. That's also not true. And so many of us think that we're only one thing and we only can be good at one thing. And it's like, no, be it all. The purpose was for you. Anything that makes you curious, go towards it. Try it. Be horrible at it. In the beginning part, go in with the expectation that I'm going to be bad at this, and let it surprise you if you are good at it. But because we don't know how to be bad at shit, we just don't do nothing at all, because we wait to move until we feel like we can be perfect. If we can be perfect at it, then we take the step. Perfection is for robots. You are a human. It is about authenticity and refinement. That's it. It's not about perfection and performance, because perfection comes from performance. Refinement comes from authenticity. You came here to be the most true version of yourself. That is it. You didn't come here to be better. You didn't come here to work hard. You didn't come here to do anything but be. You know, but if you don't see it that way in your head, because you're conditioned, then you're never going to have put your awareness in the place that it needs to be in order for you to concentrate the energy to be able to alchemize. Because what we don't understand is wherever you put your awareness, the longer you look at something, the more energy that starts to concentrate in that area. And the more energy that starts to concentrate, the more influence you have over the energy that's concentrating, which allows for transmutation and alchemy, right? Which means that the more you do something, the better you become at it. The easier it is for you to transform whatever you're doing. We're ritualistic people. And that's why in school, when we're studying for a test, what do they have us doing? Memorizing, right? We keep memorizing the same thing over and over again. But it's because we're ritualistic people. They understand who we are. We don't understand who we are. Which means that you have to have a routine. You have to be doing something over and over again. The more that you do something, the better you become at it, the easier it is for you to influence that energy. And so let yourself be bad. Let yourself be terrible. It's like riding a bike. When you first learn to ride a bike, you're falling off that bitch. You scraping up knees. You going head first into the pavement. You know, but you don't stop trying to figure out how to ride the bike. You know, you get back on that bike. Most of us do, because we think that's just a normal part of childhood. You know, this is a normal part of life. You're a creator. You're supposed to create. You're supposed to be curious. You're supposed to go after what you want. Not focus on what you don't want and try to protect yourself, because a lot of us are in a defensive stance. We spend our whole life on defense, ducking, dodging, shifting. We trying to protect ourselves from experiences when experiences are what cause evolution and growth in all the things. But we don't want to experience the emotions that we perceive to be bad. But there is no bad emotion. They're only telling you I like this or I don't like it. If you have a bad emotion, it's saying whatever you're choosing, choose something else. That's it. But we let our mind make up stories about what that feeling means without even sitting with it to gain the wisdom from the thing. Inequality and discourage fuels the system. Yes. And also separation. Because they want you to think it's about race. They want you to think it's about class. They want you to think it's about professionalism. They want you to think it's about all. It's about none of that. It's about money. It's always been about money. Everything that they do is to secure their ability to hoard money. They don't give a fuck if they shoot you in the face in broad daylight or what color you are when you do it, when they do it. They don't give a fuck. They sell the illusion of accountability. But then who's to say that we know that those people are even in those jails? We don't know that. Everything is a performance. Everything is, they tell us what they want us to know. And if it is a bad situation for them, then all of a sudden the person dies in jail. That person's on that island. But okay, let me not get too unhinged. But it's always been about hoarding resources. And so they need you to think that the only resource that is worth anything is money, when the only resource that's really worth anything is your depth, is your vulnerability, is your capacity to hold water, is your grace, is your innocence. But they tell you that can't make you money in society, and the only way for you to get access in society and be worthy in society is if you have money. But it's only like that because we accept that it's like that. You can start trading and bartering within your community. We can start community gardens on somebody's land, private property. We could learn how to correct our status so that we don't fall underneath the regime that has taken over our country. There are ways to do it, but the ways that we go about it, think and fight, because that's all they teach us is violence, right? That doesn't work. It doesn't work. The only thing that works is you healing yourself. You figuring out what you want. You developing a fucking opinion. Until you know who you are, you can't even develop a fucking opinion. Not a useful one. We came here to do two things: to become aware of ourselves and to express ourselves from that place. And so what it looks like for you is different than what it looks like for other people. 1, 2, 3, 4 on the clock. Progress. But it starts with us 100%, because when you love yourself, you don't just let anything fucking slide. You do not. You don't let anybody come into your space. You don't let anybody talk to you any type of way. You don't let none of that shit happen when you love yourself. When you have self-respect. You don't allow it to happen. You're not going to go for the same shit you went for, because you see where that got you. That's why healing is important. That's why alchemy is important. It's not, but we think that the pain is what actually makes us valuable. It's not. It's the transformation that comes from the pain. And so many of us get stuck in the pain itself, and we don't know how to get out of it because they're not teaching us how to do that. And that's why Soul School. That's why I started Akara, because I want to help as many people as I possibly can. But you got to be willing to do the work. And that's why I did an intake. Because some of y'all are still blaming everybody else. Some of y'all are still blaming the universe. Because it's easier. But y'all don't realize that you being a victim benefits you. And not to say that any of those things didn't happen to you, because they did. But you being a victim benefits you, because then you don't have to change. And you don't have to be anything else but self-loathing. And as a person who was the victim, I'm saying this from experience. I don't exclude myself from this conversation, because I was. But the truth of the matter is even when I got the apologies that I thought I was never going to get, it didn't make me feel better. I still had to do the work. It didn't fix anything. But if you convince yourself that it's always other people, and you convince yourself that they did this to you, then you don't actually have to put yourself out there. You don't actually have to be more than what you are. You can stay stuck in your trauma. You don't have to fail. You don't have to go into the unknown. You don't have to be different. We stay in our wounds so long, and there's nothing we can do there. Yes, the thing happened. Accept that that thing happened. Did it suck? Hell fucking yeah. It did. It did suck. What did you learn from it though? What did it teach you to look out for? What did it teach you was important to you? What are the feelings that it made you feel? And why do you think it made you feel those feelings? Is the story that you tell yourself about those feelings actually how you feel? Or is it just another way for you to beat yourself down? Does it just keep you comfortable in that victimhood so you don't have to be different? The joy is in the transformation, I promise you. It's in who you become in spite of it. The lessons that you take with you. The lessons that you give to other people who are navigating that in real time. The compassion that you have for people who are going through things. The grace that you have for people who are going through things and then blaming themselves for it. Because I almost rather you blame other people in the universe than blame yourself. But there's a great deal of us who deal with a lot of shame. We got to learn that shame is the part of you that's telling you that whatever it is that happened was out of alignment with you. That's it. But we take that shame and we make up stories about ourselves. I'm worthless. I'm never going to be good enough. Nobody likes me. Nobody listens to me. I've just never been good at anything, right? Because shame comes from religion and it comes from the education system. Because they tell you if you don't have A's, you're failing. And if you fail, you're probably going to end up in jail. Right? And it gives no space for you to be anything different than scholarly. But most of us are creatives. We're not scholarly. We were never supposed to lean into the mental energy in the way that we did, right? Lemuria was all heart. Atlantis was all mind. We are still stuck in the all mind. New Earth is about bringing a balance between both. You need intuition and information, but you need intuition first because intuition is 90% of who you are. Information is only 10%. It's only supposed to be used for confirmation. You're not supposed to seek answers through information. You're supposed to seek answers through you because there is no technology that is more advanced than you in this reality. You are the technology. And everything else is mimicking you. But they don't want you to know that because then you would start to realize that Earth's memory lives in your bones. You would start to realize that your ancestral memory lives in your womb. You would start to realize that your star memory lives in your heart. And until you can clear all the debris that's burying your access to those energy portals that already exist inside of you, you'll realize you don't need anybody. You never did. You need other people for the fact that you need to grow and evolve together. And that's what y'all came here to do. And that community feels good. And that alignment feels good because it leaves you not feeling crazy. But when it comes to seeking answers, figuring things out, you only ever needed you. You never needed to be educated by anybody. You are everything that ever fucking existed in the universe, the multiverse. Whatever void womb we're living in, you are it. You're a full piece of it. You know, it's not like you're a candy bar or it's not like you're a fucking ice cream cone and you all cone. No, it's like consciousness, source, energy is the ocean. You dip a cup in the ocean and you take the ocean up, but it's still the full thing. You are the full thing. You always have been. But they told you that you were nothing when you are everything. And so the way that you see yourself has to change if anything else is going to change. Shame is the spark of growth to redirect your energy. Yes, shame is a portal. It's a threshold. Everything that we think is negative energy On the other side of that is exactly what we want. Fear is just telling you bumping up against something that probably in a past life or in this life didn't work out so well. And it's also asking you, are you actually ready for the thing that you say that you want? But it doesn't mean that you make the decision from the fear. You make the decision based off of what you want. The fear is there, yes, because it's scary to step out and not know, because in school, they've conditioned us to always know what's coming ahead. That's why they give us a syllabus. And so anytime you don't know what's coming ahead, you panic. But that's also conditioning. You were never supposed to know. That's the truth of the matter is you were never supposed to fucking know. You were never supposed to know. That's the joy of it, is that you're exploring and you're letting life surprise you. We afraid of fucking surprises. We want to know exactly where you're going to be here, exactly what you're going to be wearing and where we're going and what we're doing after that. And we want a whole fucking agenda. We can't even go on vacation without an itinerary and fucking themed dinners. I fucking hate that shit. But we can't. And it's just like, why can't we just go there and go with the flow? Why can't we figure it out? Why can't we explore? All of it was designed to disembody you. You know, all of it was designed to disembody you, because if you're disembodied, right, your energy is so outside of yourself, so hypervigilant, so scanning, so in survival. Everything is happening fast and you don't got time to think. So that means that you're not making decisions from an honest place. You're making decisions from survival. You know, we got to know we need to learn slow mastery again, because feminine energy is slowness. It's receptivity, which is presence. And presence is beingness, meaning you're not trying to figure anything out. You're not thinking about yesterday. You're not thinking about the future. You are literally existing as you are right now and knowing that you are enough. That is the state that we used to exist at 100% of the time. But they teach you linear thinking in school. A plus B equals C. Past, present, and future, when really the only thing that exists is right now. If you're thinking about the past right now, you are bringing it back up right now. But we were not even supposed to be people who remembered every single event that happened in our life. We were supposed to be, we remember in spirals. And what that means is if somebody brings something up that you have been through, then you're able to tap back into that memory. But you're not supposed to be having that memory on a loop and remembering every detail of that memory. It's like, no, the next time that you need that memory, you tap back into that memory. That we've moved so far away from ourselves. And it was done intentionally. And so now what I'm doing with the Soul School in the car is trying to just move us back in a different direction. Talking about energy, because you need to understand energy, because energy is the only language. In the physical reality, everything is energy. So if you look at everything as a vibrating frequency, a vibration that holds a frequency, and you look at that as a language that you're trying to understand, and understand that every person you come across is a language you're trying to understand. Every animal you come across is a language that you're trying to understand. If you can look at it like that, your whole life changes. Because you move from protector energy, which is the lower self, into the higher self, which is the clarified, the one who's seeking for understanding. But we assume that we know the language of people based on our previous experiences, and that's what keeps us looping in trauma. You know? So anywho, I don't know how I even got on this subject, but I guess I was supposed to be saying that today, 33 in the amount of people that was in the live. That's my number. Apparently I was supposed to deliver that message today, so that's really good. That's why I influence a room when we walk into it. Yeah. And have you ever met those Black women that like have an angelic, radiant, but soft presence to them? Like when you look at them, it's like cocoa butter is just glistening on their skin, and like they have like a glow to them, and they might have a little cuff on their arm, or might have a little pixie cut, or, you know, like, and they walk into a room and it's just like everybody stops and just like stares at them, you know? That's how we used to be. We walk into that room and we own that room because we know who our confidence does not come from what you have. Confidence comes from who you are. Knowing who you are, knowing your impact, knowing your worth. That's where confidence comes from. It doesn't come from what you have. And so many of us confuse confidence with what we have, and that's why we're chasing these labels from companies that hate us. That companies, from companies that openly say, don't touch my shit, I don't want you touching my shit. You bringing down the value of my shit. But we the biggest money spenders for their company. So if we just pull our money out because they say they don't want us over there, they shit would collapse. But we are too stuck in the trying to perform instead of just, and half that shit is ugly. Let's be honest. Half that shit is fucking ugly. But we see the value in it. But the only reason why it's got value is because we said that it has value. Yeah, to prove a point to people who shouldn't matter. To prove a point to people who shouldn't matter. But I also think we shouldn't go on the opposite extreme either, like Shein and Fashion Nova. I think we need to get rid of places like that. Because they just, one, stealing everybody else's designs and profiting off of it. But then they're selling you cheap clothes that don't even last because they manufacture them in bulk. You know, I think we need we need to bring back the 2015s when everybody had their own boutique and everybody was finding unique pieces and everybody was either thrifting in consignment or you know, manufacturing their own shit. Like, we need that. We need to bring back real artists. We need to bring back people who actually believe in themselves. We need to bring that shit back because so many of us are so disconnected from ourselves that we losing creators. We losing creation. Right? They got fucking AI making our music. We don't need AI doing that shit. We need AI doing the paperwork and running our estate and doing the administrative work. So we can stop paying these government officials that our money ain't even going to them, but that's what they telling us. We can stop doing all of that. Have AI do that shit. Have AI write business plans. But we don't need AI writing our fucking poetry. Why the fuck, bitch? Ain't no heart in that. You don't even know what you're saying. You just pumping out based off of patterns. We don't need that. We need us to be the creators and them to do the shit that we don't want to do. Okay, my love. I'll catch up with you later. Yes, I feel like everybody is so Kanye West and Kim Kardashian. And what I mean by that is Kanye West sold us nudes. Like nude, sleek, aesthetic, whatever. Everybody's trying to fit that aesthetic. Everybody's trying to fit that aesthetic. And so when you walk into people's houses, everybody's house is white. Or it's either cream, or it's fucking tan, or it's ew. I'm tired of that. Put some fucking pizzazz in that shit. Like, you remember when they used to have those Spanish tiles and when people's steps used to have like a little rug on it and like people used to have, I just don't know, just anything that looks like you, like your house is representative of you. What you wear is representative of you. Like, do something with that. Like, do something with that. Everybody is doing the same thing. Bring color back. Please bring color back. It's so strange. It's so strange. It's so strange. It's so strange. You know, and then I walk into people's houses and it's like plain tan couch, you know, plain tan rug, plain tan dishes, maybe a little garland of fake leaves, not even the real fucking leaves. And if they do got real plants, it's one big potted, big ass fucking plant in front of a mirror. It's just like, ew, please. Let's have some individuality. Like, you are supposed to, everything that you purchase is supposed to be an extension of you. You know, it's supposed to match your vibe. And I think because of bulk buy, because we're in such a survival mode, so many people care about just getting more for their money instead of getting something they actually like. It's like, well, yeah, I can get 4 cups for $10. Why would I pay $10 for this one that I actually fucking like though? Just pay the fucking $10 for the one that you like. I don't understand. You don't need 4. Do you even need 4? I think everybody's so braced for danger that we buying shit just in case we need it. Just in case we need that shit. You know, we buying all these clothes and we don't even fucking go no fucking where. It's just, we used to curate it, period. intention is lost because it takes time to curate, because we don't know slowness, because we used to instant gratification, because we want things at our fingertips right now. And not only do they bulk produce it, but they deliver it to you within 4 fucking days, 2 days, sometimes the same motherfucking day. You know, looks used to take time to put together. You buy something, you try it on, it don't fit for what you want it to fit for. But then a year later, you buy a piece that's just like, oh my gosh, I remember that skirt I got in the back of my closet. And you go back there and you put it together. It's like, I just threw a motherfucking fit and I didn't even mean to. Like, bring that back. Like, I like when I go. One thing I like about LA is everybody dresses. Everybody dresses in LA. Like, and it's on some chill, cool shit. It's on some chill, cool. Like, they don't even got to be doing too much, but they doing too much. But I like that too much, though. It's too much to other people. It's not too much to me. But it will be perceived by other people, you know? And so it's just going and seeing people in their own style, seeing people just do it their way. And, you know, like sometimes you come across people, it's like nobody else will be able to pull that shit off but you. That's the style that you need to be looking for. Nobody else can pull this shit off but you. You know, like that's what the goal should be, is like taking the risk. But you gotta learn how to fail first. You gotta be willing to be looking like a fool, because you can't find your style until you find your style. Does that make sense? You can't find it until you find it. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta go through the ugly phase. You gotta go through the, okay, that was a little crazy. You know, it's kind of like doing makeup. You gotta go through the brow blindness. You gotta go through the whatever until you could see clearly. But that's why I'm saying that we ritualistic people, and the more attention and awareness we put in a place, the more we have the ability to influence it, you know. But I think you got to learn yourself, and we too afraid to learn ourselves. We too afraid to even look at our fucking selves, let alone fucking learn ourselves. We too afraid to even look at ourselves, you know. But everything you do should be representative of you. It should be something that you're proud of. You know, like when I think about my last year, I am so proud of this. I am so proud of this deck. Like, I feel like I made something for us that looks like us. I like what I did. Like, I like that every single deck, every single thing is telling you about the journey. You know, when you get the flame spiral, the Ace of Flame through King of Flame, that's about your journey of finding the spark of your creativity. When you get to the water is about learning emotional depth and intelligence, learning what you need on a soul level. The breath is about, or the air is about you learning how to manage your mind. You know, the earth is about how do you get out of a place of scarcity? How do you reach the wealth frequency again to where you can live an abundant life? You know, the major arcana is about major life things that you're going to have to go through, like the mirror of shame, awakening, you know, all of that, soul fragments, parts where you're traumatized so much that you lose parts of yourself and you get stuck in a loop. You know, I'm proud of this because I think there's nothing else on the market like it. Even though it looks like a tarot deck, that's not what this is. That's not what this is. This is an Oversoul Codex, which is ancient technology in modern form, and I'm proud of that shit. But had I been listening to everybody else, I would have never got here. I would have never got here. When it comes to the services that I offer, human design readings, I could have easily just went into human design and did it like everybody else did it. But I saw something deeper in it because I was sitting with it. I was sitting with it and trying to understand if I could feel what that energy feels like. And because I sat in it, this whole other world came about to us. We're like, no, we using this as you know, personality fucking test, when really this shit is giving you so much information about you on a soul level, and we don't even see the connection with that shit. And so I redesigned human design to try to help us really understand what the energy looks like in alignment and out of alignment, with applicable things to what you could be doing right now in your fucking life. You know, because I think that if we don't make it real life, it's just up in the air. We don't know what to do with all that fucking information if we're not making it real life, if we don't know how to pull it back down here to a grounded place. And in order for you to get to that grounded place, you have to have depth, which means you have to feel. And in order for you to feel, it requires slowness, because feeling is its own language. Thoughts are fast, they're electric. That's the language of the mind. But your body and your soul and your womb speak the language of feeling. And so you have to be able to feel, but you only can feel in a slow environment. You only can feel through slowness. You know, and so those moments in your life that sit you the fuck down is because you're not resting. Your body needs to rest. We have activity cycles and we have rest cycles right here. The red, that's the activity cycle. That's spring and summer. The blue, that is the rest cycle. That's autumn and winter. Right now we in conception period, new moon energy. We are bursting with ideas. Write that shit down. But you're not supposed to take action. You're supposed to be anchoring into your truth before taking action. You don't take action until March 22nd. And that's when you want to start your new projects. That's why Soul School starts March 22nd. Why? Because we're the most asleep right now. We're the most asleep right now. We're only trying to figure out what needs to be moving through us. You know? I'm proud of all the work that I've done, even on my spiritual journey, even with going towards my gifts and going to mediumship school and spiritual school myself to even prepare me for this. I'm glad that I just even took the risk. That's one thing I love about myself, that if I am interested in something, I will go take a course. I am a life learner. I don't think that I know everything. If I am interested in something, I'm going to go buy a book. I'm going to go look into it. You know, I'm going to go look into it. That is what I do, because I'm seeking to understand myself so that I can further align myself with my truth, because we came here to become aware of ourselves. Period. Everything else is a distraction. You know? Anyways, thanks for coming to my TED Talk, because that's what I got to say about that. I feel like I kind of went on a tangent, but that's what I'm doing in Soul School, is teaching from presence. Yes, there's kind of like a curriculum to it, of course, because you leave it up to me, baby. We be talking about everything. There'll be no structure to it, and so I'm actually working on the lesson plan this morning. But I'm gonna be teaching from presence. We're gonna have healing circles. We're gonna have doing energy work as well. Oh yeah, I can do a reading, babe. What I'm doing is $22 readings right now, because I made this about something else, but I'm doing $22 readings right now. It can be sent to my Cash App, BIGTAJJJ with 3 J's. And I would like to call y'all up so that I can kind of get a feel for your energy, because I want to kind of raw read you first and then get some confirmation, so I can give you like a full picture of like where you are right now. And so how do y'all want to do it? Do y'all want me to call y'all up, or are y'all comfortable coming on the screen? Are y'all comfortable being seen by the group? Because I did call in live or over the phone. On live, like right here. And so what you want to do is send your payment to the Cash App, which is 22, and then call in on live. But yeah, we did that yesterday. I don't know if y'all was on live with me yesterday, but I had a mentee who needed to do a reading, and I had completely spaced on booking somebody for her reading because the holidays, all this. Those are all excuses, but that's really what I just blanked. And so I let her come on live yesterday and do a reading for somebody, and it actually was a really good experience. You know, I used to actually do that more often. It's like doing readings where I call people up. But if you don't want to do it that way, I could just do 3-card pulls again. Which is just with my Oversoul Codex. And it's just going to kind of tell you where you are right now. When did I lock my hair? May 31st. May 31st. So it's not coming up on a year yet, but I'm like 5 months from a year maybe. But yeah, I actually did this myself. The reason why I did this is because I wanted it to be a personal journey. My cousin is a professional loctician. And like, if he see the back of my head, he probably gonna scream, because it got a little crazy. It's somewhere up in the middle somewhere. But I wanted it to be a personal journey. Like, I did it for spiritual protection, because this is the best way to protect your energy field. Because you know how like Earth has a North Pole and a South Pole? You do too. And so at your crown is like a pole, and so it's like it's somewhat of a portal that things can enter into, attach to, all of that. And so when you have locks, it creates static. And so like even when it comes to like the electric technology that they have, like, so you know, like where they can see inside of buildings and where people are and stuff like that, if it's from above, they wouldn't be able to see because of the static that the locks cause, which period, we love that. But I like having locks. Like I genuinely do. Like I've always liked having like a, I don't know, like wild look to me. Not saying that locks look wild, but the way that I did them, like my hair is big. Like my hair has always been big. And like I used to call myself a bush baby because like my hair, one day it's cool, calm curls. And the next day I look like motherfucking Mufasa. And so yeah, that's why we be looking at people crazy when they try to touch our hair. Yeah, please don't touch my ether. Really, I just was thinking about locking my hair too. This is awesome. Yeah, I love it. I'm not gonna lie. Like I thought it was gonna be, I was kind of nervous, you know, because I think just societal standards just treat you different, I feel like. But I don't give a fuck about them people. I don't give a damn. I don't give a shit. Hold on one second, y'all. Treat you different, I feel like, but I don't give a fuck about them people. I don't give a damn. I don't give a shit. Hold on one second, y'all. I feel like I used to be the type of person who like cared about shit like that, or not really. But what I mean by did I don't fucking know. Like I feel like I cared more about my impact on people than I did of like how people perceive the way that I look. Because fuck you. I was so scared because my hair is finer and I was afraid I was going to have but 3 locks. Yeah, so my mom's hair is like really fine. And so my cousin actually he crocheted in a couple of her locks. He crocheted it. Like it's like he made her locks brick by brick. It took him like hours. But now they all the way down her back. And she has probably like, I'll probably say 2 B hair, 2 C hair. You know, like she's fine. Like, you know, like she got the type of spiral curl where she just got to wet her hair and her hair is just bouncing in, you know. I got a little bit more, a little bit less of that in me. but yeah. So yeah, that's kind of where I am right now, y'all. Like I feel like I'm aligning with myself in a good way, and I love that I'm aligning with myself in a good way, and I love what I'm creating and what I'm doing, especially with the app. The app is almost done. I'm hoping that it's able to be launched on the 16th, but I won't know something until next week. And so if not, I might still have my grand opening. I might just hop on TikTok or YouTube and do the grand opening that way. And just kind of invite everybody, which I'm excited about because I kind of want to just give people a deeper understanding of what Soul School is about, you know, because I went to 2 different spiritual schools, I guess. I had a mentor and then I went to like a spiritual school. And it's like, I want to make this fun. Like I want to start it with like just telling people what the energy of the week is, and start teaching a lesson, you know, do it in energetic literacy. I want us to learn how to sense other people's auras and learn how to feel into colors, into objects, into like all kind of things, because our sensitivity is our gift, you know. Learning how to read each other, learning from a mechanical standpoint as well, which astrology and human design tell you there's only 64 energies that we process through our body. And so there's only 64 energies, which means that if you learn the 64, what they look like in alignment, out of alignment, you'll understand everybody who you ever come in contact with. And it also makes you a better reader just because you know what energy they operating out of. And so in year 2, I'll be teaching astrology, human design, that type of thing. But we're going to be looking at colors, and we're going to be looking at interviews of people talking. We're going to be looking at music too, because I just think we need to bring the art, the creative component back into it. Because when I look at art or when I hear music, I can hear the essence of the person behind it. Like I can hear exactly what emotion that they in, or I can feel exactly what they feeling. Or like if I'm looking at art, it's just like, this feels like this was done in this mood, or that, you know, like it's like I can, even when I come on here and I do like 1 question readings or whatever, and somebody just puts a question in the chat, your energy signature is in the way that you say something, in the tone that you use. And tone is not always physically heard. You know what I'm saying? Because we only hear a specific amount. We only see a specific amount, but there is so much that we don't see that we can pull from, you know? And so I just want to kind of teach people how to hone their gifts, because you don't need a job if you have gifts. You don't need a job if you're a creator or artist, you know? We've just let too many people control and capitalize off of our gifts because we don't want to do it the long way or the hard way, or whatever the case may be. So yeah. But yeah, I'm excited about it though, because I feel like I also want to do like, I talked about this yesterday, but I want to do like a field trip every year to like either a historical site or a retreat or just a place where we can go and just kind of get to know each other as a group, because I really do want to build community, you know, because I think y'all will, whoever's in this group with y'all or in this class with y'all, are going to be in this class with y'all for the next 3 years. And so y'all get to know each other. You know, we're going to be doing projects together. We're going to be doing all kind of stuff together. And so I'm trying to do that. I'm also trying to get other speakers to kind of come into the space, or if there's anybody who's in the class who knows a lot about a subject, like I'm okay with other people teaching as well. I also want to do like full moon rituals, new moon rituals, that type of stuff. I want to be more consistent with that in myself. And so that gives me a reason to like just go live and kind of host some of those things on the site specifically, or on the app specifically. And so I'm excited about that, because sometimes I'll get on here and I'll do that. And those are really good sessions. Like people walk away feeling really good about that. Or people walk away doing some shadow work or feeling just released in a way. And so I kind of want to do that too. And I also just think people being in my frequency, because I've fully embodied who I am, we don't realize how much our energetic field affects the people that we come in across, because everybody is co-regulating together, meaning like our nervous systems are kind of like attached to each other. And so because everybody is co-regulating together, once you get around people, if you have a regulated nervous system, you'll start to help regulate other people's, you know. Can you recommend a Reiki practitioner in LA? I haven't been drawn to anyone energetically. I cannot, because I don't know any Reiki practitioners in LA. I learned Reiki for myself, and so I do Reiki on myself sometimes, but I only learned it so that I could do it. But I am a Reiki master though, but no, I mean, I don't know anybody who could do that. But some of y'all are just natural. Okay, I got you, Toya. Some of y'all are just natural practitioners, though. And y'all don't be knowing that y'all natural practitioners, meaning like y'all don't need Reiki to activate the universal energy in y'all hands or y'all body. Like some of y'all actually are just naturally like that. And it's built, you can find that out from human design as well, because it's built into your energy, you know. I'm gonna pay tomorrow for the for Soul School, Danny. If so, let me know if you need me to resend the invoice, because I only sent the invoice to people who said that they were ready, back to the initial email. But yeah, I think right now, I think it's 12 people in the class. But like I said, classes don't start until March 22nd. But yeah, I'm excited about it. Like, I think that, you know, that song. What song? But yeah, I'm excited about it. Like, I feel like it's going to be a new journey. It's going to be exciting. It's I have some people helping me out, so I don't got to do everything by myself, because I'm done with that. I'll check, but I don't think I got the invoice. I can resend it to you, but I know I for sure sent it to you. Memory. Oh, can you elaborate on that? Do you mean that source energy is our centers? No, like your source energy. Source energy is just the pure intelligence before existence, right? And so source energy is awareness. Right now, awareness, in order for awareness to move through spirit, awareness uses consciousness as the vehicle. In order for consciousness to move through form, which is the material plane, it needs energy to move. And so awareness uses consciousness as a vehicle through the spiritual world, and then consciousness uses energy as a vehicle for all three of them. And so that's why they say there's a triplicity to life. And so you are source energy. You're not separate from source energy. You are like I explained with the ocean. You know, you're like a cup taken out of the ocean, but you're still the full ocean in that cup, you know? And so you are source energy. But in order for you to get into contact with source energy, you have to be aligned with your own truth, which means that if it feels good, that's a yes. If it doesn't, that's a no. You have to be honoring what your body needs, and your body speaks the language of feeling. The more that you can feel, the more you can clear out debris, and the more that it clears your channel to that. Because unfortunately, you don't just have your karmic imprints to transcend, you also have your ancestral karmic imprints to transcend, which means that you're born more than with your family's blood. And what you need to understand about blood is life force energy. It's your vitality, right? And so blood has DNA. DNA is a storage facility for memory. And so every single ancestor you have lives inside of your DNA. In the storage, every single DNA strand can store up to thousands of tons of information. And so when they say that you're the universe, that's what they mean. Everything exists already inside of you. Your heart is a chamber to your soul. And so every version you've ever been, what connects you to your oversoul, happens through your chest, through your heart, which is also feeling. It's magnetic. It's the most magnetic organ that you have in your body. It's where your electromagnetic field comes from, you know? And that's your path to your soul. But your womb is your path to your ancestors. And everybody has a womb. We actually have 3 wombs. But everybody has a womb. Male and female, because men are just a genetic mutation of women. Where ours is inside, theirs is outside. That's it. Oh, hold on one second. Women. Where ours is inside, theirs is outside. That's it. Oh, hold on one second, y'all. Yes, ma'am. So do you want to come up? You don't have to turn your camera on or anything, but I just need to hear your voice. So, I mean, I don't have to, but now I can get some confirmation about what I'm feeling. Zoo, zoo, zoo. Hold on, I'm writing down what I'm getting. Oh, I'll send you an invitation. Hold on. Oh, I'm excited. Hey, Toya.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for allowing us to be in your energy today and doing this in such an open space. You know, I think it's brave for people to come up. So thank you, girl. Can you start by just giving me like what the weather is like where you are so I can kind of pick up on your energy?
Let me see. It's pretty cloudy out.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Give me one second. Is your father a pastor? Or is he living?
My stepdad is passed.
Your stepdad. Okay. Where's your actual dad?
My actual dad,
Mm-hmm.
he lives around my area.
Okay.
He recently came back into my life.
Gotcha. Okay, so that's coming up. That's coming through strong first.
Oh,
So let me just, and it feels like this is actual dad.
okay.
So give me one second. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. Um, Now this might be a little sensitive, sensitive of a topic to bring up, but I keep picking up on some type of abuse. And it, for some reason, it kind of feels like neglect in a way. But I cannot put my finger on it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I wish I did. I mean, it feels familiar. It really does, but I feel like I'm not self-aware enough to know what it
Yeah,
is.
gotcha. Okay. Um, did something happen with your dad? Like your real dad?
He left out of my life for a long time.
Okay. Was he on drugs or something?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. I feel like there's some type of neglect or abuse that's happening. And again, I do think that there's some memories that are kind of locked away. And I don't know why I feel like this has to do with dad. Dad keeps coming up as a theme. And I also feel like that there's an adverse reaction to dad, meaning like uncomfortableness. Um, okay. And then I'm also picking up that your energy kind of feels like a protector energy, but it also feels like you only speak up for other people and not on your own behalf when you need to. It's like it's almost like if somebody is like coming after your friend, then you'll speak up. But if somebody is doing it towards you, you don't have that same fire.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it feels like I don't know if that comes from like not being heard because it feels like for a long time you were seen and not heard, and I don't know if that means that your demeanor is just kind of quiet or if it's kind of reserved or if you don't trust that people care about what you have to say. But I'm getting a big energy around you needing to speak up in your life. um I'm getting a big energy around you needing to speak up, but then do you have like a younger sibling?
I have 3.
Do you feel like you need to protect them or you need to?
Always.
Yeah, okay. Because I do get big sister type of energy, but it feels like you're protecting somebody younger than you. And I think that's what kind of comes when I'm talking about this energy of like you stand up for other people, but you don't stand up for yourself. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it feels like that your perspective is so needed though, because I think that the way that you look at life, like you have a certain level of emotional vulnerability and you also have a certain level of just understanding everybody because you had to understand everybody. And but I don't know that it was like a safe place for you to fully do that, or like either you don't trust in your voice or your voice was not allowed to be expressed in a way was that made you feel comfortable using it.
Yeah.
you know? And so, but I think that's a big part of your journey though, is communication.
Yeah.
Like, are you like, do you write or something or?
I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done I think 2 other readings with you, and yeah, I know
Oh,
that I'm supposed to be
yes.
communicating more. Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. Period.
Yeah.
Wait, when did we do a reading?
Okay, so I did the general reading, and then I had my human design, and then I also did another reading with you on TikTok. It was a while ago,
Oh,
though.
okay, period. Well, I know your energy, need, girl. But anyways, yeah, it feels like you need to be writing or something. Like I think that your voice, there's a highlight around your voice, but I also think that the abuse, the neglect, the uncomfortableness, and I don't know why I feel like it's yelling or something. Like something kind of disconnected you from your voice. Damn, I wish I knew what that was though. And I don't know why I feel like it has to do with the father dynamic. When did your mom and your dad break up after you were born?
They were on and off now for a long time, like for years, like up until like maybe 10, and then he was gone for some years, came back for a year, was gone for some years,
And
and
was he
then
like abusive, not like physically abusive, but like emotionally volatile abusive?
He was emotionally unstable.
Yeah.
Like that's what I remember for the most part, but I don't remember like I
Specific instances.
yeah, he has a lot of anger. He had a
Yeah.
lot of anger. Um, and then, but yeah, that's what I
Yeah, because what
remember.
I feel in that energy when I say uncomfortableness around your dad, it kind of feels scared. Like it feels like from a very young age you were scared of him because something feels like very like you don't know who it is who's walking through the door. And but I also think that it gave you skills to where your perception,
Hmm.
your ability to read people happens a lot better than most people or a lot quicker than most people. Um but I think your gift is in your voice though. Like I keep wanting to point back to your voice and like you're supposed to be writing, you're supposed to be using your voice, but I also feel like you don't feel comfortable in that energy.
Hmm.
And that in some way comes from unworthiness though. Like it's this energy of, and I don't know why I want to tie that. Like, did you do well in school? Specifically
Um,
in English or in writing?
yes, I did, and yeah, I did really good in English for
Yeah.
most of my school life, and I think yeah, and I've always loved to read, and so yeah, I've been doing some writing, but I need to write more, definitely.
Yeah, it feels like it's almost like you need to practice a little bit. Like I would be in this energy of doing, I would be in this energy of writing every day. Because I think your voice needs to come all the way to the top, but I do think that there's a fear of judgment there. I think it's also like a fear of failure, like not believing in your own self and not believing in your voice. Because again, it points me back to this energy of like you not, you being seen but not heard, you know? And
Hmm.
so that's what I want to say about that because that's the main thing that's coming up for you. And then the father dynamic is coming up. And the father dynamic, what I want to say about that is that I don't know why I feel like that's where the unworthiness comes from. And what I want to say about that, what I want to say about that is like it almost feels like um the people who were supposed to take care of you, he was the person who was supposed to take care of you. It should not have been anybody else. But I think that the fact that he was kind of in and out impacted your self worth because, how do I explain this? Because it feels like you didn't feel like, or you started to feel like you weren't enough for him to stay, you know? And I actually think that there was a little bit of, because your siblings, do they have a different dad than you?
No, they
Y'all
don't.
all have the same dad.
Yeah,
Okay, I got you. Um, but why
but
do I
they
feel like they have a different dad? Like, did they experience
because
him differently?
my stepdad was there, like he was more in their life than my actual dad was.
Oh, okay. So they had a different experience than you had with your dad,
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
Okay.
Um, but he's been around more, so kind of, I'm not like, I'm definitely thinking about that a lot more because he's around more and he's around them more and he's, you know,
And you're the protector in that situation.
I'm trying to be, but I really sometimes I just can't tell what's right or wrong when it comes to
Yeah,
him because all I can tell is that he's, he's trying and he's doing
yeah,
things for them and getting them what they need and all that, but he's never he never knew how to be a dad, I don't think.
yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. And I also think that he deals with a lot of shame or like
Yeah.
pre
He don't like to
alcohol.
talk about it though.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah. Well, I mean, the drugs. That's what happens.
Yeah.
Is people are feeling a big emotion and they running away from it, right? But I also feel like you inherited some of that. Like I think that one is the being in and out of the life, and then also the component of him being an addict. Um,
Hmm.
that feels like unworthiness. And I think sometimes we also don't know how to separate ourselves from our parents, because I remember being younger, and my granddad is a drug addict or whatever. My mom's brother is drug, like, half my family are. Right. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember I used to be like, damn, like I come from fucked up people. Like, is something
Yeah.
wrong with me? Like, I started thinking like I'm the fucking problem. It's like, you are not those people. But I think when you a kid, you don't know how to not separate yourself. I mean, you don't know how to not center yourself in what's happening. And I think that there is some internalized unworthiness that you have from that situation, that needs to be brought to the top. But I also think that dad is re-entering your life right now because you need to learn how to speak up.
Okay.
Whatever it is, it's like it's trying to bring it forward for you, because you are supposed to be writing. You are supposed to be create. You are supposed to be doing it.
Okay.
And if this is my
Okay.
second time telling you that, then
Yeah. Yeah.
that that's what's supposed to be happening, right? And so I think that this situation with your dad is going to be quite revealing, because you're going to get to see the parts of you that don't trust, because I also think that your siblings didn't see what you saw, and you can't forget what you saw.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's going to be kind of like a learning experience, even if you don't know it in your conscious memory. Your body cannot forget what you saw. And I don't know why I feel like yelling and like, I don't know, it didn't feel safe though. I feel like you felt really scared in whatever was happening in the situation,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so your body can't forget. Your mind has forgot, but your body cannot forget that, And so I think it's going to be a testament in forgiveness. I think you're going to start to realize the places where you don't feel worthy because of how he is. And I think that it's going to start you on this journey, because I think there's some forward movement that's happening for you this year.
Mm-hmm.
And some changes that are happening for you this year, because I feel like you have went through some type of transition in these
Oh
last
yeah.
couple of months. And so it
Yeah.
feels like what's coming is good. Like, it's hopeful energy. Like, it's
Yeah.
really hopeful energy. I think that this is happening right on time, because I don't think that you would have been opened before,
Mm-hmm.
but it feels like something is moving in a positive direction. But right now it's really important for you to focus on what you actually do want, and don't get stuck in the past. And what I mean by that is, if you say that you want a relationship with him, then you have to actually try. Because I also feel
Okay.
like there's a reluctance with you, like you don't want to be emotionally available in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and if you want it, you're gonna have to try, you know.
Right.
But I think you're gonna learn a lot about yourself, because I also think you inherited certain attributes from your bio dad,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that that's going to be the thing that kind of pushes you in this direction. And I think that whatever your experience has been is very unique, and it's going to help a certain niche group of people. And so you need to be like writing, you need to get you like a Substack, or like
Mm-hmm.
a journal, and at least be writing every single day.
Right.
um so yeah, so that's what I have to say about that. um let's get some confirmation, girl. Yep, Temple Guardian, which is good. Hold on, let me pull the card first. And that's a life. That's that protector energy. Like, it came through immediately. Like, your energy is very protective of something right now. But I also feel like that could be your peace too. Yeah, and then the guarded energy, which is the emotional vulnerability and the departure. Okay, so this first card, the Temple Guardian, is about you being in this place where you fully know who you are, and understanding that you're the person who's guarding your inner temple, right? And a big part of that is boundaries. A big part of that is boundaries and communication. Now, one thing about boundaries and communication is you need to know how to feel. You need to know how to feel, and I think your energy is a little bit guarded. Okay. But you
Okay.
need to know how to feel. And the reason why you need to know how to feel is because I don't know, that feels like thinking your way through things. I think you're actually in a place where you're learning how to feel though. And so, with you being the guardian of your internal temple, safety actually comes from you speaking up for yourself. It comes from you setting boundaries. It comes from you asking for what you need. It also comes from trust. And so when you go into this relationship with your dad, you're going to have to trust him with how you feel. I don't know that he's in a place of full accountability,
Mm-hmm.
but I think that in order for you to be in that relationship, you're going to have some tough conversations with him about
Okay.
how him being in and out of your life made you feel. Because I also feel like, There's this expectation that people are going to leave. There's an abandonment wound that needs to kind of be looked at
Mm-hmm.
with that specific thing. And then this guarded energy, I think you're creating something new, but I think that sometimes when we're creating something new and we're coming from this place of scarcity mindset, meaning like we're thinking we're going to lose something, we're thinking that things are not going to work out, we grip at it really, really tight. And I think that whatever you're doing in your life right now, we try to control everything. We try to make it perfect. You don't need to be perfect. You probably could benefit from being a little messy and just
Mm-hmm.
figuring out what works for you, because I don't want you to get stuck in this perfectionist energy or this energy that causes you to be stagnant and not want to move. Like, allow yourself to be bad and don't grip at it, because I think that once we have been hurt in life, sometimes we try to guard ourselves from that pain. But when we guard ourselves from that pain, we're also guarding ourselves from experiencing happiness as well. You know?
Okay.
And so this card is basically about, yes, what you built and what you've been working on is important. And yes, you're going to want to covet that, but within a certain level of bounds, you
Right.
know, like you don't want to be holding on to it too tight. Like, you have to allow yourself to flow a little bit. And then the last thing is the Eight of Waters, which is the departure energy. And this is telling you that if something is not working for you, it is okay for you to leave. It is okay for you to walk away. And sometimes there's guilt when it comes to walking away from things that you feel like, maybe at one point in time that you wanted. This card is more so about like, if, yes, the guilt might be there, but the guilt is not what you need to let direct you. The guilt is not
Mm-hmm.
what needs to be making the decision. Um, you need to make the decision based off of what you think is best for you in the moment. But again, this is feeling energy. But I think you feel bad when you prioritize yourself, or you feel bad when you are doing things for you because you think that you're being mean, or you think that you're used to having to understand other people,
Mm-hmm.
and so this card is more so about like, it is okay for you to walk away from things that are not serving you. So if you do get in a situation with your dad and you realize that it's not a situation that you can stay in, don't feel guilt for choosing you.
Okay.
Okay. Um, so that's pretty much what I have to say. Did you have any questions?
I don't think so.
Okay,
Thank you
good.
so much for your time.
No problem. I would love to see you writing, my love. I really would.
Yeah.
Like, get on Udemy and take a creative writing course for fun, or like, it's the website called thinkwritten.com, and they have
Mm-hmm.
like creative writing prompts and stuff that you can just pick from, and like, like journal and just get back in that energy, because I think that your voice is an important part of your journey. It really is. And
Okay.
I would love to see what you do with that, girl.
Oh, thank you so much.
No problem, my love. You have a good one.
You too. Thank you.
Alrighty. Bye. I did not know that I talked to her before, but that makes sense. I think as I started talking to her, I started remembering part of the conversation. But yeah, so many of us are so gifted, but we're just it's the way that we were raised made us feel unworthy in so many different ways. And I think especially women in society, because society tells us that unless we're giving to other people, unless we're, prioritizing what everybody else needs in front of ourselves, then we are not worthy. Unless we're beautiful, we are not worthy. Unless we're, the fucking body standard for, which is crazy. A size 2 is crazy, but a double zero, we are not worthy. And it's just like, I was a person who had a dad who was kind of in and out of my life as well, but not intentionally. He just lived in a different place. And when we was with him, he was great. But when we wasn't, it was out of sight, out of mind. And I think that I dealt with a lot of that in my relationships. I've noticed that all of my relationships had a component of distance, but I also felt unworthy and inadequate because I thought my dad was going to come and save me. I don't know why I thought this man was going to come and save me from all of my problems. And then when he didn't, I just was like, oh, I must be the problem. I must be not worth that. And it's like, I would find myself, having conversations with my dad. And I love my dad because my dad allowed me to be myself. And it's like, I would have conversations with him and it's just like, oh, I just really love him. Why don't he love me back the way that I love him? Like, why don't you love me the way that I love you? And so I had to unpack that in the last couple of years, and we had a tough conversation. It went well, then it didn't go well. And then, I just decided that if I want him in my life, I'm gonna have to tolerate certain things. And I stopped allowing him to impact me, how I see myself, because I had to realize that Other people are not intentionally trying to hurt us, you know? We all in survival mode. You know, I had young parents, and so not making excuses for him because nigga, but you could have did more. But that wasn't my situation, and because it wasn't my situation, I gained skills that I feel like I would not have gained. Like I think it happened in the perfect way, and my dad is not all bad. You know, I just think that moms don't have a choice. They don't get to just walk away. Men can just walk away. Moms don't have to, you know, they can't do that, you know? And then I think about those times where I was really hard on my mom, but she the one who stayed, and I'm tearing her to shreds. I don't give her half the shit I give my dad. And so facts, those societal standards are so rough. Yeah, they are, you know, because it doesn't leave room for a woman to actually show up authentically. Because if you're constantly prioritizing somebody else's shit over your own, which you're neglecting yourself to do it. That's the only way for you to fully prioritize the kids, the husband, you have to be neglecting yourself. You fall through the cracks. You're the sacrifice for that. And people want women to do that without complaining. They don't want you to say a bitch ass thing about it. Because when you do, you too sensitive, you weak. Oh, now I'm just horrible. And now it becomes this narcissistic manipulation. And then you start questioning yourself, and because you're a self-aware person, and you go, and then it fucks with your mind. It fucks with your self-worth. It breaks you down, you know? But I think women have always and will always be the disruptors. Shit changes when we change. Period. Shit move when we move. Period. Shit is birthed into this reality when we birth it. Period. Yes, I'm doing readings today, babe. I could probably take one more, or I could probably take two more. It just depends. I got a client at 3:30 my time, so yes, I'm doing $22 readings. If you send the payment to my Cash App, which is BIGTAJJJ, 3 J's, I can call you up as soon as I receive the payment, and we can do the reading. But yeah, I said I was gonna start doing these more just because I feel like I haven't been using my gifts as much as I need to be using my gifts, and I'm just like, girl, what are you doing? But it was only because of, oh shit, hold on. Sometimes I just be feeling like I don't want to use my gifts in a cheap way. Like if it's for your evolution, absolutely, because we're here to help each other evolve and grow together. But if it's for a man, you know, and that's no shade. It's just that I feel like if you go to a psychic for that, then you already got your answer. You know, if you got to go to somebody about it, your answer is clear. You don't trust that person, at least at the bare minimum, you know? But yeah, thank you to Tori for coming up. That was good. That was good stuff. And I like how I meant to tell you too, you need to sit in stillness, babe, because your energy does feel kind of rushed and kind of stuck in survival a little bit. And I think you're kind of getting out of that. For some reason, I feel like you have been sitting in stillness recently. But I think you need to anchor into that more. Okay, good. But I think you need to anchor into that more, because I think that your creativity comes through you sitting with yourself, like through you feeling, through you sitting in presence. You know, I think that is what's going to connect you to the source of it. That's what's going to connect you to the source. And then you're going to be getting idea after idea after idea after idea. Okay, that's what I felt like, because I felt like the stillness was something that you're actually doing, but you need to do more of. So yeah, but yeah, I told myself that I was gonna be using my gifts more in this year, just because I've been dreaming, y'all. Like, and yesterday I posted this video about a dream I had, and then I had the client right after that, because what I've been doing, I can feel it coming more. Oh, good. I love that for you. I do take Zelle. My Zelle is TAJAMOORE16 @gmail. They don't let me put it in the chat, so I'm sorry. Every time I put it in the chat, they disappear it, and I don't know what to do with that. Just sent it. Oh, memory. Okay. You sent it to Zelle, or you sent it to Cash App memory? I was doubtful at first because I didn't understand, but I just need time. I forget time exists. Yeah. Like I feel like Cash App. Okay. Oh, for Ronnie. Um Wait, is Ronnie your daughter? Wait a second. What's going on here? I missed something. Or you paying for a reading for somebody? Because I also love that in my community. Hey Lexi. So my email is TAJA, Taja, my first name, MOORE, Moore, my last name, 16 at Gmail. Oh, okay, good. Oh yeah, Ronnie, you can come up. And then I can do Val right after. I think Mal, oh no, so hold on, wait. Pause. I'll still sponsor someone if they would like. I offered earlier but didn't want to renege. Okay, so we got Mal. So wait, who is this? Who is this for? Ronnie, or is this for? I know you tired of reading me, JK. I'm trying to figure some things out. Girl, I ain't never tired of you. Yeah, I pay for somebody. My bad. I'm driving. Who you intended this for? Who though? For Ronnie? Yeah, you said for Ronnie. So Ronnie, where you at, girl? Why you running? Why you hiding? Why you ducking and dodging me? Okay. Okay, that's cool. I can do a 3 card pull for you, and then I'll call Val up then. Val, you want to come up here? If you want to come up here, I'll let you come up here. Let me just do a 3 card pull for Ronnie real quick. Oh, okay, I got you. I have some employees that follow me. Okay. Ooh. Ooh, Ronnie girl. Okay, so I get a couple different things for you. I feel like there's a soul contract coming up for you right now, Ronnie. So you need to pay attention to the patterns that are happening in your life because it feels like something might be looping that it's time for you to release in order to move you forward on this next thing. And I don't know why there's like a reluctance to your energy to take action. And I don't know why I also feel like, are you are you moving in a different direction when it comes to your work, Ronnie? Or what's going on with work? Like, are you not fulfilled where you are? I'm in transition. Okay. That makes sense because that's what's coming up. It feels like something is changing there. And what's the reluctance to take I quit my job when my dad dies too. I'm so sorry to hear about your dad, my love. I quit my job when my dad died. Okay, okay. Um, all right. And so whew, I'm getting chills all over my body. Um, I actually think that was realignment, babe. Ronnie, I think that was realignment because I think that whatever you do next, it's not going to be through effort. I think that what you need to do is it has to be in alignment with you because I also don't think that the job was making you happy. And I feel like whatever you do next needs to be fulfilling you on a soul level. But I also think that you have only known how to um, gain money through doing. And what I mean by that is like hustling, going, running yourself into the ground. And so this energy, this new energy is an energy of surrender where you are supposed to be taking time to figure out what it is that you want right now. And letting your truth lead you, because I think that there's something you're not seeing or something you're not doing that you should be doing, right? I also think that there has been a lot of mental energy going on with you, meaning like you probably spend a lot of time in your head. But I think that you, and it just brings me back to this energy of doing, like being stuck in the masculine energy of going, kind of in survival mode, kind of just hustling, keeping your head down, doing what you got to do, trying to survive, you know? And I think that this 10 of breath energy that I get that's coming from you is the energy of surrender. I think that your dad passing broke something. And I'm not going to say broke, because broke is not the right word, but I think it softened you in a way to where you realize that whatever you felt like was important is not important, not as important as you thought it was now, on hindsight, on the other side of that. And it feels like you're entering into this space where you're finally not fighting upstream, you know, like you're finally surrendering to that. And it feels like this is a soul contract that's coming up, because I believe that you are actually a mirror. I think that you are someone who reveals people's truth to them in a way that actually can be received. But I also feel like that there's a pattern that you're stuck in that needs to be released. And it feels like this pattern has been happening all of your life. Are you the breadwinner in your family? Or are you the one everybody depends on? Like, what's your role? Or what are you trying to prove is the better question. Sorry, I got questions, girl. Firstborn daughter. Okay, that pretty much wraps this whole thing up with a pretty bow. Yeah, and so it feels like you kind of had to be everything to everybody. And I think that you are naturally in this mirroring energy, you know, but I think that you haven't owned the totality of your light because you're too busy giving it away to everybody else. Right. And so I think that in order for you, like, there's a need for you to clear your mirror, because there's a looking through distortion energy. And what I mean by that is, like, I don't know if you're reacting from your wounds, or you're giving advice from your wounds, or you're reactive in a way. But I feel like that right now, everything that's happening is kind of reorganizing you around your truth. And there is a need for you to do some healing work, do some shadow work, so that you can figure out who you actually are and not collapse under the projections of other people. So you can figure out who you are and not abandon yourself in situations where you need yourself, you know? Because I also feel like, I don't know if you've been able to grieve in the way that you want to grieve, because it still feels like you're worried about everybody else, you know? And so I think that this is the time for you to be loyal to yourself and what you need. And what you need is also important as everybody else. And the medicine that you give everybody else, you also need that medicine, you know, because your energy do kind of feel alone a little bit, and like you carrying the weight for everybody. Like you see everybody, but don't nobody see you, you know, like it feels like that. And I feel like there's a soul contract or something that's coming up. There's a pattern that's coming up that keeps happening, that you need to look at. And I think it has to do around trying to fixate and heal everybody, trying to do the emotional labor for everybody. Like, I think that this period of time in your life is about you reorganizing around your truth, which means you're gonna have to disappoint some people, which means that you're gonna have to you also got to learn how to communicate a little bit too, because I think you realigning with your truth is not you trying to abandon people or hurt people or anything like that, but you're gonna have to learn how to say no. You're gonna have to learn how to realize that you don't have it spiritually right now. You know, proper support, nurture, care for other people is built on the foundation of self-love. You're supposed to love yourself in so much abundance that you have all this abundance to overflow, to pour into other people's cup. But the moment that you don't have any overflow, you don't have nothing to give anybody. And I think that this situation is bringing a lot to the light that maybe you just didn't have eyes for before this situation. I think that you are softening, and I think that you are starting to realize what's important to you. But I also think that you don't know how to get those things without effort, and you don't know how to get those things while you're still trying to take care of everybody else. Does that make sense, my love? That's disgusting. I just drank a whole mouthful of clove. Ugh. Not good, not good. Like the way she signaled out that I also commented. Chill, spot on. Okay, good. All right. So let's do mall real quick, and then we can jump back to Val. Oh, it's okay if you don't want to come up. I can just do a 3 card pull for you, Val. But I don't want to leave you in the dust or anything like that. I don't operate like that. So if you want the reading, I can just do a 3 card pull for you. Mal, do you want to come up, or do you want me to just do a 3 card pull? Or just do a reading based off of your energy? Because I could do that too. You're welcome, Ronnie. I also think, Ronnie, that you need to take the leap on something that you actually want to do. And I think that whatever this thing is, you don't think that it's practical, but I think in the back of your head, because I think it's always kind of hunted you a little bit. Whatever that is, I think you need to take the leap on that. And I don't feel like you thought about this thing in a minute. So I just want to say that. Mal, you coming up? Let me send you an invite. To be a Reiki practitioner, yeah, I think you need to do it. Hey, Mal, how are you?
I can talk. Can you
Yeah,
hear
you
me?
can talk, girl.
Oh, I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing good, girl. That was funny. Okay, so I want you to just kind of tell me what the weather is like where you are, so I can kind of pick up on what's going on.
Okay, well, I'm in the Sunshine State.
Yeah.
The weather is nice. I think it's like in the 70s today. It
Uh
feels good
huh.
outside. It's like the sun is kind of going down a little bit because it's like 4:54.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, you on the east, okay. Um, I got a question. This might be a little too deep. But I'm still gonna ask it. Did you lose a baby?
No.
Did somebody around you lose a baby, like a son?
Not, no, not that I know of.
Okay. Did somebody in the chat lose a baby? I have a little boy coming through. And I don't know why I feel like this was like a stillborn or something.
Oh, yeah,
One of
definitely
my
not
best friends
that.
lost her baby 2 days ago. Okay. Ronnie. Okay, so that could have still been coming from your issues. I mean, from your reading, my love. Um, okay, sorry about that. Sometimes reading on live, you picking up on everybody. Um, okay. Um, I don't know why I feel like there was some type of betrayal or something. That's caused you to kind of put yourself in this alone state, or like this state of not being able to trust other people.
Oh, yeah, I know what that's from.
Yeah, and so when I get in your energy, that's the first thing, and it's in the back of my heart too. Like it feels I feel like you've been through a lot of betrayal, but I feel like something happened that you might not have been expecting, and it caused the. Are you in isolation right now?
I was in isolation. I mean, I don't mind telling my business online, but I
Period.
had
And I
like a
love
90
that.
day
Just be who
I
you
had
are.
like a 90-day fiance type thing. I had brought someone over here from another country and it just didn't pan
Oh,
out how I thought it and then how I thought it was gonna be. And then essentially we were like broken up, but we were
yeah,
still like dealing with each other. And then he ended up moving on and wasn't honest with me. And so when I found out about who he moved on with, it really hurt me because I'm like, yeah, we aren't technically in a relationship, but we're married still, but we deal with each other when we're in each other's presence. And when
yeah.
he moved on and didn't tell me, it really affected me bad, real bad.
And it was somebody that you knew, like somebody that you brought up to him or something.
Um, I didn't bring the person up, but he was like kind of boasting about it. And then I went and I found her and I was like, oh, this who you dealing with? And then that's when it just went from bad to worse.
Okay, okay, yeah. Because I don't know why I feel like you said something and it just got you.
Yeah,
Okay. Um, and what was the money? Like, what was the? Was there money involved in or something?
absolutely. Cause I put him on. The
Yeah,
career he has, everything is like was from me. And then it's like how you like, I was betrayed with the money situation because we had
yeah.
plans, and it just went another way.
That's tight. It's the Wicked Games, is what I heard. Wicked
Oh,
Games. Um. Okay. But you also still feel isolated, like you on an island by yourself. Like, do you have friends or do you go out the house? Like, what? Tell me more about that.
so I moved to Florida for that relationship, and I
Oh,
don't have outside of like two people that I met at my job. I don't really have any friends out here.
yeah. Okay, I feel that. Because something about your energy feels alone, meaning
Hmm.
like, um, you're kind of disconnected from the people that you normally around, but it also feels like alone in the fact that you're longing for community, like you're longing
I
for
am, yeah.
relationship,
Hmm.
and whatever that looks like. And I think that the reason why that's happening is because you do have this energy where you're supposed to be anchoring in love codes for the collective. But I
Hmm.
think that your main focus has to be self-love right now.
Okay.
I think that you need to give to yourself what you keep trying to get from other people because in these dynamics or in your relationships, I feel like you're always in this position where you're giving more and not receiving the same thing back. And I
Right.
think that right now, I think you need to realign with what you actually want and who you actually say that you are because I also think that there's, oh shit, that fucking hurts. That betrayal is sharp.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Oh my
It
gosh. Like I
hurt
feel
me
like
to
you
the
gave up
core.
everything. Like
I
it feels like you
did.
gave up everything
Yeah, I
for the
poured into this
situation.
person. Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm. And so I think the self love, like I think your journey right now, especially this year, is about discovering yourself. I think you kind of needed to be disconnected from the crowd that you was in. Like I
Hmm.
think you're kind of going in a different direction, which is good. I think that this situation serves you in a way that it is pointing out um the imbalance in energy. And what I mean by that is like you're constantly pouring into other people, but you're not expecting that same, like what you want in return is like loyalty. You want
Hmm.
love, you want that, but that's still a scarcity mindset. That's still a scarcity mindset. And what I mean by that is like you deserve to also receive.
Hmm.
You deserve to also receive, but I think you kind of struggle when you not needed. I think you don't know who you are outside of that. Now I don't think that's a bad thing. I think a lot of women go through that, because we used to being the ones who got to cook, we got to clean, we got to do all the things that the boys don't do,
Hmm.
and so I think what you need right now is to become your own best friend. I think you need to start living your life fully with yourself. Get comfortable with yourself. Take yourself on dates. create the standard that you want provided for you in your life. And I think in some way that you do that. But I think you need self-love, because there's also a part of you that feels like you're going to end up alone. Like there's a fear of aloneness. And I think that is getting around the right people, because I do think you're trying to do you want to do the work. You want to be like, you want to, but I think that it's the way that you approaching the situation. You need to know yourself better. You need to know yourself better, and you need to love yourself in so much abundance that this is just kind of like a byproduct, because I think it's an alignment issue. Like you need alignment, which means that you need to align better with your truth in order to get that. Okay.
Okay.
Has the betrayal kind of, you're coming out of your shell right now, you said, but the betrayal, when did that happen?
It just happened in like July.
Got you. And then you went into isolation for how long?
I feel like I'm coming up out of it right now,
Yeah.
little by little. Yeah.
But I feel like there's also this energy though of you holding yourself back a little bit. And I again, that kind of feels like not being able to trust yourself, in relationships with other people, because I feel like this was a big event, you know?
Yeah, it was. I
Um,
did go through that, struggling with like trusting myself. Like you picked this
yeah.
person and they did you wrong. It's like, how you know you're gonna pick the right person going forward?
Yeah. And so I think there's a little bit of reluctance there, you know, but I think that what you're looking for comes from you first, you know? And I think that if you can create a specific standard for yourself, and you can pour all that energy back into yourself, I think that everything is going to move in a different direction. And for you, it's about integration. It's about embodiment. Because I also think that you know a lot, but it's hard for you to learn how to root into your truth, you know, because then there's always this conversation in your head going on where you're kind of talking yourself out of your own intuition, you
You
know,
know,
but
it's funny that you say that, because I be like, dang, and my intuition be so strong, and I have to tell myself like, girl, you need to listen to her. That she don't be
yeah.
steering you wrong at all. It's like if I would have just listened to my first self, a lot of stuff would be
Uh-huh.
different.
Yeah, because I feel like when you in your truth, like when you align yourself with your intuition and stop second guessing yourself, stop negotiating with yourself, I think everything changes for you, because I think that you are the thing. And what I mean by that is like whatever it is you came to do in this reality, you are already the thing. You know, like it's like you're an embodied transmission of something. Like, and then for some reason, it feels like joy and love. Like those two things feel like those are important parts of your journey. But I also feel like in a way you might have started believing that what you offer people is too much. You know, and so like now I feel like you trying to change the purity and innocence of your love when you just need to change the people.
Oh my God. That is so funny that you said that, because I just had this conversation with my mom. It's like, I feel like I'm pure love and I can't change who I
Yeah.
am because of what other people did to me.
Yeah, you can. And here it is, the overflow card, right? So you gotta, in order for you to pour into other people, um, you gotta be in a state of abundance though. You know, you gotta be in a state, and I think your energy is so abundant. Like your energy feels very generous. It feels very generous, and it's like almost like what I was saying earlier. I don't know if you was on my live earlier when I was talking, but I was saying like, you know, I'm the type of person who I see something in the grocery store and I'm on the way to my friend's house and I'm like, oh my God, my friend would love this. Let me just grab this for them. But then I start feeling like when I don't get that back in return, I start feeling like I'm doing too much, you know. And I feel like you have this very abundant and generous energy, um, but you got to stop chasing what's not yours.
Okay.
You know, you got to stop chasing what's not yours. And I think you know quick. I think you know quick, because I think you're a lot more intuitive than you give yourself credit for. You know, but I think you are here to anchor in love codes into the collective. I think that your joy is contagious. When you happy, I think your joy is contagious. Like people just tend to look at you, look towards you, you know, like you end up being like the life of the party or the center of attention, you know, even if your energy, because your energy still feels a little radiant too, like meaning like you don't got to even do too much. And that's just how people look at you.
That's funny because I call it the Mallory effect.
Yeah, big Mel, not the little one. You know, but I feel like your energy is somewhat contagious because you are the transmission. Like just by you being you, you help other people. You know, like it's people who going through emotional stagnation or whatever the case may be. I feel like you come in and you reinforce hope or something. Like your energy is very much so needed. But I think you got to stop giving it to people who don't know how to receive it, because I also feel like that there was a little bit of starvation in childhood of love.
Yeah,
of
it
attention.
was.
And
Yeah.
so because there was this starvation of love and attention in childhood, I feel like you are trying to give other people what you did not have, but you're giving it to people who don't know how to receive it.
Okay.
You know? And so I think when you realign with yourself, because I'm not saying that self-love is not there. I think you love being Mal, you know, but I think that your situations in relationships has impacted your self-worth.
Okay.
And you are starting to think that you're the problem. You need to change how you are. No, you don't. You are exactly who you're supposed to be, but you got to go towards people who actually know how to receive and reciprocate
Okay.
what you are giving. Okay? But I think you need to keep being you. Don't let them take away the purity and innocence of your love, but you got to give it away, give it to people who are ready to receive it. And I also think you need to explore a little bit too, because I don't know why I feel like you're a relationship person.
I
Or
am. Oh my God.
I think you need to explore a little bit. And I think you need to like just have fun. Like don't jump immediately to serious.
And that's the thing. I feel like because it's such a good energy and people like to be in it, that they try to like lock me down immediately.
Don't let them lock you down, sis. Don't let them lock you down, because I feel like everybody's gonna have that reaction to you because you're just that girl. You got to know that you're just that girl. Of course, you're gonna have that effect on people. Like you need to go into it with that expectation. But are you able to reciprocate? Do you have the capacity to hold me in my fullness without asking me to shrink, without asking me to be less? That's what you need. That needs to be the conversation, because I think you need to realize you are doing the picking. You need to be picking people who actually have the attributes that you want. You know, not people you got to coach up into no shit. People who actually possess the characteristics as a part of who they are as a person. That's what you need, which means you also need to be comfortable waiting longer.
Okay.
You need to be comfortable waiting for what you're looking for to come along. You know, because I think you like love. I think you like the beginning part of it.
Yeah, I do.
You know, like the dating, the courting, I think you like that. But I think it causes you to jump into shit too quick. You know, and you are 0 or 100.
Right. That's
And so I feel
Libra.
like you
Yeah.
said 100, and we ain't even set the foundation yet to even see if we there yet.
Right.
You know? And so I think your energy is so special. I think it's so needed. I think it's so contagious. Go into dating with the expectation that you know that you're that girl.
Okay.
You know, and stop letting them trap you.
Okay.
Don't let them put you in a box, girl. Let yourself breathe, explore a little bit, have fun. Like make dating fun for you.
Okay.
Okay, my love.
Thank
All
you
righty.
so
Did you have any
much.
questions?
No, you covered
Okay.
everything.
Okay, my love. Well, thank you for coming up. I appreciate you allowing us to get in your energy and your business, because you know I think reading on live is it takes courage, and so I appreciate you for being visible. You know, keep being visible.
Thank you.
All right, my love. You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All righty. Okay, now you talking to me, girl. That's why I like doing these on lives, because I think we need to witness each other. You know, witness each other more in a vulnerable state. A lot of us don't know how to be vulnerable. A lot of us don't know how to be honest about who we are and the decisions that we made, because a lot of us don't know how to have a good, healthy relationship with shame. Not that there's shame to be had about that, because I don't think it is. But I think that we spend a lot of time shaming ourselves and not allowing ourselves to just be who we are and not accepting that, okay, this is a choice that I made. Okay, this is a thing that I did. It's not a defining moment for me, but it is something that I have to navigate, because I think if you're not honest about it, then you can't get help. I think if you're not honest about it, then you can't do something different because you won't even acknowledge it, And so this is for you, Val. Okay, girl, we got cards flying out at me. Okay. I don't know why I feel like there's some ancestral energy or memories that are coming to the top for you, Val. This isn't a bad thing. This is all upright energy, by the way. And so I do think that you're in a place of reconnecting with your inner child. And I think that there is some ancestral energy that's around you that's trying to help you do that. The first card that I get for you is this Six of Waters. And the Six of Waters, as you can see, like, again, this is the inner child. This is the ancestor. I am drawn to this dynamic right now. And so I don't know if you're calling in ancestors or you have like a grandmother who has passed over. But it feels like somebody is trying to help you to reconnect with joy, reconnect with having fun, reconnect with that part of who you are. This card is about reconnecting with your grandmother. Okay, that's what I wanted to say, grandmother. This card is about understanding that memory is the map your soul left for you to follow home. Okay, but you're not meant to stay there. And what I mean by that is some people get stuck in the past or get stuck in the nostalgic memories and get stuck in like the ideas, fantasizing type of energy. And yes, those things, like I said, are a map your soul kind of left you to kind of reconnect to home. But I think that this energy is a energy about emotional awareness, right? And so I think that what I would be doing right now is understand it's okay to honor the past, but you don't want to live there. Okay. I think there is a need for you to kind of move forward from certain things that have kind of happened that have kind of put a damper on your energy. I think there's a need for you to reconnect with your inner child and understand that the things that you have been through are what you needed to go through in order to get you to where you're going, And so I think this card is about kind of seeing the beauty in your experiences, learning how to hold grief and joy in the same realm of things. Yeah. And there's a heavy water theme in your energy, meaning like, I think the feeling is so important. And I don't know if you feel everything or you're super sensitive or what, or if you've either done that or on the opposite side have numbed yourself. Can you let me know which one it is? Do you feel super sensitive or do you feel like you numb yourself now? Super sensitive but can't let people see. Yeah, that's what it feels like. And it feels like that you are this energy that is very compassionate, but your compassion should only be the same compassion you give other people also has to be extended to you. Because I also feel like there's this energy of you kind of being really hard on yourself, or this energy of you being so compassionate that you end up betraying yourself in situations, and so it's almost like that energy of too understanding, and so I genuinely think that you need to give yourself the same compassion that you give other people. You need to start giving to yourself, because I think that you're just really hard on yourself and you don't give yourself enough grace or space to make mistakes or to be different or any of those things. I think your energy is very like heady. It's very heady. Like it's like I feel like you live in your head a lot and that you're very, you might be a little sharp with the way that you talk to yourself. You might be a little sharp with the way that you talk to yourself because but also sometimes I also think that this involves other people too. And what I mean by that is like when you've been so compassionate and when you've been so helpful to other people and you feel like people don't see you, eventually you start saying things harder, crueler, straighter to the point. And I feel like your essence is a very, very compassionate energy though. And so I feel like you're starting to become a version of yourself, or you were moving in a direction of a version of yourself that doesn't really align with who you are at your core, but you're trying to protect yourself. And so a part of me feels like your energy might be hardening a little bit. But what you got to understand is truth without compassion is just another weapon, you know? And I don't know if that's you being hard on yourself, because again, I keep wanting to pull you back to yourself, but I also feel like it's starting to bleed into your regular life. Can you give me some confirmation on that? I know I said a lot, girl. Yeah, because the card that I get is life can be hard and life can be wonderful. Which will you focus on? I blame myself for not graduating last year. Girl, it's okay. Life happens. You know, everything happens at the pace that it's supposed to happen for you, you know? And so the card that I got was life can be hard and life can be wonderful. Which one will you choose to focus on? I think you've been focusing on everything that's going wrong, everything that you don't want, and it's pulled you away from focusing on what you actually do want. You know, I think that you got to learn to give yourself grace. It's not about being perfect at all. Like, it's not about being perfect. Your timing is not everybody else's timing. Don't compare your journey to other people's journey, you know, because you're a different person, you know. And I also get bet on yourself, take chances, reach your dreams. You got this. I don't know if that means that your energy is giving up or that you feel like you failed in some type of way. And so you're rethinking what the goal was. But I think that there's you need to learn how to mother yourself a little bit, and you need to learn how to be kinder to yourself. And when I say mother yourself, the reason why I'm saying that is because the only way for you to have a regulated nervous system and the only way for you to feel safe in your body, because I feel like the call's coming from the inside of the house, you being mean to yourself. The only way for you to be safe inside of your body is through self-compassion, is through grace. You know, and so what? It didn't work out the way that you wanted it to work out. That's fine. It's just a little redirection. If it's still something that you are interested in, go towards it. But I think it's an opportunity. It's a doorway. It's a threshold. You know, because things that are worth having are not easy. This is business number 4 for me. I had to learn when to fold them and when to hold them. You know, like I had to learn when it was time for me to walk away. And some of them dreams was my babies, you know. It don't always work out the way we want it to. But that's the joy of the journey, is that we're not supposed to know. Even though we think we know, we're not supposed to know. You know, school teaches us that we're supposed to go through this specific path at this specific time. But I didn't know what the fuck I wanted at 19, 20. I didn't know that. You know, I didn't really know what I wanted until like 31, a couple years ago. You know, give yourself some grace. Give yourself some grace. You fighting against a lot of things, a lot of unseen things, you know. And so I think that you need self-compassion right now. And I think that you need to be nicer to yourself. And I think that your grandmother is wanting you to reconnect with joy. Have fun again. You know, stop worrying about the hard shit, the crazy shit right now, and go do something just because you enjoy doing it. You know, because I think you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself. Because I feel like you're trying to prove something. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to prove anything. And a degree don't mean shit. I got a degree and the only thing I got from that motherfucker was debt. I wish I wouldn't have. I wish I shouldn't have. You know? So yeah, that's what I get for you, my love. Sorry, y'all, I haven't been able to read the comments because I was doing readings. Should I get a 3-card pull even though I had a reading last night? If you want to, you definitely can. I'm doing 3-card pulls right now for 22. I think my Cash App is in the comments. The comments so beautiful. I feel heart frequency. You know, facts. Listen to that intuition. It's crucial. It is, Callie. It is crucial. You know, you are so very welcome, my love. I'm happy to help. You know, I think we all kind of go through it. I used to be really fucking hard on myself. And I used to be in isolation and hustle mode all the time, trying to get to the goal. And it was like, when you in that chasing energy, that's not a good feeling because then there's no room for rest. You feel like rest has to be earned. Like, no, you are supposed to go to rest in birth cycles, you know, all the time. And so you have to give yourself permission to rest and just be and to have fun and to enjoy life. Okay, it didn't work out. That's fine. We'll try again next year. You know, when I started looking at life as like data collection, it changed everything for me. Because then I could just redirect. It's like, oh, okay. Well, this didn't work. Maybe this is, let me see. Is this something that I really want? Is this something that wasn't supposed to work out? But I don't stay too long there. I'll just ask the question. I'm like, no, do I still want this? Yeah, I want this. Okay, then next year it is. You know, next time you go into it, you're just going to be better equipped. And that's it. Because remember I said, I don't know if you was on the live earlier today, the more concentration, the more energy you put in one direction, the easier it is for you to alchemize and transmute that energy. And so it's just a little redirection. You just need to practice more. That's it. Don't make it more than that. Don't make it a issue of self-worth. Don't let it impact your self-worth. Because they'll tell you that these are degrees and this money is what you're supposed to attain in order for you to be worthy. You were always worthy. You were never not worthy. They want you to think that you're not worthy so that you can get caught up in the rat race. Don't let them catch you up in the rat race. And it's so intricate and it's so detailed that they got us to the point where we do it to ourselves. We don't even need them to do it. We do it to ourselves. Give yourself the grace that you deserve. It is okay. You did not come here to be perfect. You only came here to be authentic. That is it. So that means your journey is about refining. Did I like this or did I not like this? That's it. No? Alrighty, y'all. So, I think I'm about to, Yashika, did you want to read in before I hop off here? Because I didn't see nobody else say anything in the comments. Because I got a client in about an hour or so. Sister girl need to eat. I don't think I missed anything. Oh, somebody said something. Who said what? Hold on. Oh, Terry. Okay. Terry, you change your name. Hellas. I feel like I'm learning a new name for you every 5 business days. That is hilarious. Okay, y'all. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna post this on YouTube so that if y'all want to go back and watch the readings, y'all can. But I'm gonna go ahead and hop off of here so I can give me some food and stuff in my belly before I take my client. So I love y'all. There was a great message at the beginning of this. So if you didn't see the beginning of this live, please go back and watch it. But I love y'all down. I will be back on here next week, maybe. I don't know. Just whenever I feel the vibes. But I love y'all so much. And yeah. See ya.